leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Gives the ball to right field, way back, way gone!
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A rubber match under the sunny skies. It was dark and gloomy yesterday when the Blue Jays trailed 7-1, but a miraculous comeback turned into a 10-8 win. Today, Toronto looks to take the series with the Dome open at last. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the final game of this series. I'm Ben Schulman with Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host. Nick Blackmore is our producer, with Tom Young and Andrew Adams as our technical directors. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Hanwell and Woodstock, New Brunswick. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Perhaps the game of the season took place yesterday, but the Blue Jays need a follow-up to make it count. Alek Manoah takes the ball for the second time this season and first time at Rogers Center. Opposing him is tall right-hander Bailey Ober for Minnesota. Game 3 of Twins Blue Jays is next. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Fuel your fandom when you listen to live sports on the all-new Sirius XM app.
It's deep, it's going, and it is gone! It is bedlam at the bank!
Hear the games you just can't miss.
DiVincenzo again. Knicks lead. 13 seconds to go.
And get closer to the teams you love wherever you are.
Connor McDavid wins the game for Edmonton!
The action you crave is just a tap away. Live sports. Live on the all-new Sirius XM app.
You gotta love sports!
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Wanayoski continuing to win. Attaboy. Obishet sending it out to left, and it's gone.
Jose, you bring us good luck.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one. That's a great one. Jansen slams the ball to left field. Going back, Kirilov out of here. Swinging a line drive down in left center field. Biggio in to score. Behind him, Schneider. He'll score. We are tied. Swinging the ball up the fist, looping towards center, and it's down for a base hit. Castro throwing it to the plate late, and the Blue Jays take the lead. 1-1 pitch. Popped up, first base side. Guerrero calling off Jansen, makes the catch, and the Blue Jays win the game. They come back from trailing by 6 to topple the Twins 10-8 here at Rogers Center. What a comeback it was. The Blue Jays tie up the series yesterday, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, and now they have a chance to win the series. Welcome back to Rogers Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, and with a chance to win this series, Chris, it's the second start of the season for Alek Manoah, hoping to do better than his first.
Well, yesterday was one of the more exciting games that I've ever broadcast, and I'm sure, I mean, you've done more games than I've done, but
still,
yesterday was pretty awesome. But for Alek Manoah, this is a huge start for him. We saw him in his last start on May 5th against Washington. The stuff was there. For me, the stuff was there, but it's just the command of those pitches isn't all there yet. And I think that's why some people think that he should still be in AAA. He hasn't really ironed out some mechanical issues. Maybe the extension isn't there, the release point. I think he can go out there today, and if he kind of turns off all that noise, he can be successful. I think he was just trying to do too much a lot of the time. You saw the front shoulder really flying out, and he was trying to throw 100 miles an hour when his 94, 95 with good sink works, and he just wasn't locating like he should. When you're in the major leagues, you have to locate those fastballs, and specifically you have to throw strike one, which he didn't really do.
He took the loss in the first game, but we'll see if he can pick up the win today. Before we get into the game, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19-plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Baltimore 26-12 at the top of the division. The Yankees 26-15 in second. Boston's third at 20-19, with the Rays close behind at 20-20. And the Blue Jays come into today 18-21. On the other side, Minnesota missed an opportunity to take the division lead yesterday. They're a half game back of Cleveland at 23-16. Blue Jays out on the field warming up, so let's take a look at the lineups. First for the visiting Twins, second baseman Edouard Julien leads off, and the DH Trevor Larnach bats behind him. Hitting third, the shortstop Carlos Correa. Max Kepler hits cleanup and plays right. Willie Castro, the third baseman, is batting fifth. Alex Kirilloff in left field hitting sixth. Carlos Santana makes his third straight start, the first baseman hitting seventh. Christian Vasquez back in the lineup, the catcher hitting eighth, and the center fielder and number 9 hitter is Austin Martin. Bailey Ober will start for the Twins. On the other side, George Springer leads off for the Blue Jays, plays right. Dalton Varsho in center, batting second. Hitting third, the first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting cleanup is the shortstop Bo Bichette. David Schneider hits fifth and plays left field. Daniel Vogelbach draws the start, and DH is hitting sixth. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa plays second, hits seventh. Alejandro Kirk back in the lineup, the catcher hitting eighth. And the third baseman and number 9 hitter is Ernie Clement. Alek Manoah with a bit of a new hairdo. It's some more stringy cornrow braids streaming down the back of his neck, is getting his warm-up pitches in right now. His start at Washington on the 5th was 4 innings, 6 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts in 92 pitches. The 6'6" right-hander is getting loose right now with hiked-up baby blue pants and the pink socks that a lot of Blue Jays are exposing today on this Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, to my mom, Sarah, Show's mom, Zarina, and Chris's mom, Marion, as well. We hope that all the moms in and out of the ballpark are having a good day. Here comes the leadoff hitter, Edouard Julien, left-handed hitter from Quebec City, stepping into the box right now. Manoah walking up to the mound, kicks away some dirt from the front of the rubber and takes a breath into his closed right hand. Chilly day, but the dome open for the first time, and Manoah looking in toward Kirk. Comes set just below his chest, kicks and delivers the first pitch. It's a fastball for strike one. Time of the first pitch today, 1:38, 16 degrees Celsius, 61 Fahrenheit, with the dome open, some clouds in downtown Toronto. The 0-1. Just inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. It was a long time coming getting this dome open. Open a month ago last year on April 12th. 1-1 pitch, ripped at and missed. Manoah slows it down with the changeup that he didn't use a ton in his first start, but he will have to use today against left-handed hitters like Julien. Fans getting loud at the start of the game on a Junior Jays Sunday. Here's the 1-2. Off the end of the bat, a liner to left center, down for a base hit, cut off by Varsho on 1 bounce. Julien starts today as he did yesterday with a single.
Well, even though Julien got a base hit to lead off this ball game, Alek Manoah is throwing a lot of strikes, a lot of life on that fastball. That was a good fastball with a lot of sink down in the zone at 95, and Julien just does a good job of hitting that baseball where it's pitched, hitting it to left center on a line. But I like what I see from Alek Manoah so far.
Deals with a runner on first now. The pitch to Trevor Larnach, also batting left. And it's called strike one. Manoah's got the sinker, like you just mentioned, the four-seamer. They're calling it a sweeper this year, but it's always been labeled as a slider before that, and then a changeup. 0-1. High with the fastball, or make it that change, actually. 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner on first, nobody out, top of the first inning. Manoah with a long look, kicks and fires, and it's fouled off. 1-2.
And like I said before the game started, the biggest thing for Alek Manoah is he shouldn't be trying to do too much. He shouldn't be trying to throw harder than he does. If he's trying to throw 100 miles an hour, he probably won't be locating that fastball very well. But he looks very comfortable right now with the mechanics and the extension. And like I said, that release point is very, very important for him.
Manoah getting some extra time to think about this next pitch. Larnach stepped out, but now is back in the box and taps the plate. A look at first, and the 1-2. Off the end of the bat, a looper to center. Varsho starts back, comes in, and makes the catch underhanded for the first out.
And he's thrown 8 pitches so far, and I know it's a small sample size, but 6 of those 8 have been strikes. And even the 2 that he hasn't thrown for strikes have been good balls.
John Schneider did say in 2022, Manoah was making good misses. He was using his misses to get swings and misses outside of the zone. We'll see if he continues that here. Here's Carlos Correa. 1 out and a runner on first, the pitch. Fastball in there, strike 1. This first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. The 0-1. Inside, Correa started the hands, but yanks them out of the way. 1-1. Carlos Correa off to a good start this year, batting .286, 6 doubles, 2 homers, 10 driven in. 2 hits and a walk yesterday for the shortstop. 1-1. Sawed off his bat. A liner to first, caught by Guerrero. Dives to try to tag Julien, but the Canadian base runner skips around Guerrero. Nice play by Vladdy. And for the second time in 2 days, Carlos Correa's bat explodes with the barrel headed toward third.
Well, that was a great pitch from Alek Manoah. Fastball right on the hands of Carlos Correa. He doesn't like that ball in, just as you saw yesterday, shattering another bat. And Vlad with the athletic play over there. He's an athlete. I know he doesn't look like one, but he is a very good athlete over there.
2022 Gold Glover almost did a cartwheel trying to make the tag. First pitch to Max Kepler is outside, ball 1. Julien had taken a step or 2 off the bag with that looper to first. Vladdy leaped to make the play, and in his momentum back down, dove toward Julien, cartwheeled, but Julien escaped the tag. The 1-0. Kepler fouls it off the mask of Kirk. 1 ball and 1 strike. Home plate umpire Alex Tosi will walk the ball out to Alek Manoah. The crew chief Dan Bellino umpires first. Tom Hanahan at second and Phil Cuzzy at third. Tosi dusting off the plate, just giving Kirk an extra second. He gets his goalie-style mask back on. 2 outs, runner on first, no score, top of the first inning. Left-handed hitting Max Kepler up in a 1-1 count. Manoah's pitch. Off the end of the bat, foul, and off to the left, 1-2. Does look like early on a lot of those left-handed hitters are not lining up the sinker. It seems to be getting the edge of that barrel.
Well, I'll tell you what, even that changeup that he's been throwing, he's thrown a few changeups. Very good action, very good arm speed.
With 2 outs, the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Manoah gets Kepler to chase the changeup low, and he's out of the first inning with no runs across. Just a hit and 1 left on for the Twins. Scoreless ball game headed to the bottom of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
When Blue Jays left-hander Yusei Kikuchi strikes a batter out, fans get to witness the Kikuchi K-Strut. What is the K-Strut? It's an arms-flailing, feet-kicking, fist-pumping, head-spinning, energy-recoiling, absolutely electric strikeout celebration that, well, you just gotta see it.
He's something else, man.
On Wednesday, May 22nd, strut down to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans get a Yusei Kikuchi bobblehead. What do you say? Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center. Or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jose Barrios with a trio of strikeouts to end a scoreless sixth.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Scoreless game, bottom of the first, and Bailey Ober deals to George Springer and misses low. George Springer, Dalton Varsho, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to bat for the Blue Jays here in the home half of the first. A right-on-right pitch from Ober. Called strike at the top of the zone, and it's 1-1.
And Bailey Ober actually threw a first-pitch changeup. You don't really see that very often. I guess the scouting report is George Springer loves to ambush.
1-1 pitch, cut on and fouled off. 1-2, another changeup. Well, Ober's a pretty heavy fastball guy. He's making his seventh start of the season, 3-1 with a 4.42 ERA. At 6'9", he gets way down the mound and likes to work at the top of the zone. Next pitch is ripped foul by Springer and into the seats down the left field line. 1-2 still. Ober standing tall on the first base side. Into the wind, the pitch. Outside, ball 2. Almost 60% of Ober's pitches will be his four-seamer or his cut fastball. 2-2. High with the heater, ball 3.
I tell you what, there are a couple of giants starting this game today.
6'9" in Ober and 6'6" in Manoah.
285 and 260. A couple of big dudes out there.
3-2. Springer spoils another. And Ober, he looks fairly lean, but at 6'9", you're kind of going to be heavy no matter what.
Yeah, he looks about 260. I mean, you're right. He's not like at 6'9", you have to be 260.
But he's not like super built, but at the same time, he's not incredibly slim either, like a lot of guys at that height might be. Deep breath from the Twins starter, and the payoff. Springer smacks it to left field. And that one is caught on his knees by Alex Kirilloff. Great contact from Springer, but he hit it right at the left fielder, 1 out.
Yeah, Springer hit that ball right on a line to Alex Kirilloff, 105.1 miles an hour. Hit that ball right on the screws.
Springer down, though, to start the bottom of the first. Here comes Dalton Varsho. First left-handed hitter of 2 for the Blue Jays today against Bailey Ober, who winds and offers. Called strike 1. Daniel Vogelback will bat left for the Blue Jays as well. He's the DH and number 6 hitter. Varsho in center field today. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. .222 average for Varsho, leads the team with 6 homers and 17 RBIs. Takes another pitch outside, 2-1.
There is a lot of pink on the field right now. Christian Vasquez with the full catcher's gear, all pink.
Third baseman Willie Castro with hiked up pants, exposing pink socks as the 2-1 misses outside, 3-1. First base Carlos Santana doing the same. Also in right field Max Kepler, and in center Austin Martin showing off pink socks. 3-1. Varsho smokes it foul down the right field line, 3-2. What I want to know is, does Carlos Correa have multiple pink bats? Because he destroyed his bat in the top of the first.
Well, we will see.
Yeah. Because I don't know, you get that bat for this day specifically. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Varsho goes down, and there are 2 outs.
And that fastball from Bailey Ober, it's only 92 miles an hour, but he, like we said, he is so tall and gets that good extension down the mound. It probably looks a little bit like 94, maybe 95, and he sneaks that fastball right down the middle past Dalton Varsho.
So 2 outs, nobody on, no score, bottom of the first, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s up. First pitch is low, ball 1. What a day it was yesterday for Vladdy. Came up with 4 hits in 5 at-bats, drove in 3 runs, including a 2-run single to tie the game at 8-8. 1-0. Fouls off a fastball, sends it down the third base line, 1-1. Make that a change, actually. For Vlad, it was his 5th career 4-hit game, and his average up to 272. The 1-1. Slow breaking ball. Looked like a strike, but called high. And that's now 2 balls and 1 strike.
And although I do believe his swing looks better, I think at the end of the day, he's just making better swing decisions, swinging at better pitches.
Swings at the 2-1 and misses on a changeup in the zone, 2-2. Guerrero stepping out of the box for a moment, settles back in, taps the far corner and near corner of the plate, and lifts the bat above his right shoulder. Ober winds back and fires. Missed down low. Guerrero raising his hands in the air to avoid swinging at that low pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And earlier on this season, that's probably a pitch that he would have offered at. He would have swung right through it.
Bo Bichette spraying some extra grip on the handle of his bat. The 3-2. And Vladdy spoils it foul in the air and off to the right. If nothing else, the Blue Jays have made Bailey Ober work so far. He's gotten 2 straight outs, but he's gone to 3-2 counts with all 3 hitters now. Tall right-hander, gets into the wind. Here's his 21st pitch. Fouled off again. This time grounded off the front fencing of the third base dugout. Seven-pitch battle so far between Ober and Guerrero. 3-2 count, 2 outs and the base is empty. The pitch. Hit foul high in the air and down the right field line into the seats. Looks like that ball landed in the hands of a mom here on Mother's Day as well.
One can't assume, though.
2 young kids beside. 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Guerrero goes down on the changeup. The 9th pitch of the at-bat, and Ober strikes out back-to-back hitters to end a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. Scoreless game headed to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here we go.
Surf's up. Summer is just around the corner. The warm sounds of the Beach Boys will get you there sooner. Good vibrations, the Beach Boys channel.
We're in Southern California. The beach is a huge deal here. The sunshine, it's athletic.
Now, for a limited time, Channel 79 and the all-new Sirius XM app. Good vibrations.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into Sirius XM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' third national title.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Top of the second inning at Rogers Center. Scoreless ball game. Blue Jays and Twins in this rubber match. Willie Castro, the switch hitter, batting left, leads off for the Twins. The pitch from Alek Manoah in the dirt, ball one. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays shift to the pull side against the switch hitter batting left Castro. However, third baseman Ernie Clement is playing in on the turf, watching a bunt. The 1-0. High, ball two.
In that first inning, Alek Manoah threw 15 pitches, 11 strikes. I don't know what that percentage is, but it's a very high percentage. In his first start against Washington, he threw 92 pitches, only 52 strikes.
11 for 15 is 73%. 2-0 outside, 3-0.
You did that in your head, didn't you?
I did not. I did not. Calculator's right. Manoah, though, with 3 straight misses to start the second. 3-0 pitch to Castro. High and outside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to start the inning.
And we saw that quite a bit in his last start where he would be dominant for 2 or 3 hitters and then kind of revert back to that fastball that's kind of arm side high. And right there to Willie Castro, he threw 4 pitches that were nowhere near the zone.
Let's see if Manoah can rein it in here against the left-handed hitter and Alex Kirilloff. Runner on first, no outs, the pitch. High and outside, ball 1.
And again, you can see everything is arm side high. He's trying to be too quick to the plate, and he's trying to do too much. If he can just revert back to that first inning where he was very compact, everything was neat and tidy, he'll be much better off.
Manoah kicks and fires. Swing and a miss on a pitch that looked a little outside, but much closer to the plate. 1-1. Manoah tucks his glove at his left hip, now tucks the ball into it at his chest. Here's 1-1. A ground ball to second, picked up by IKF. Flips to Bichette for 1, back over to first, double play. 4-6-3.
Those last 2 pitches by Alek Manoah were absolute perfection. Down in the zone, good life. He wasn't rushing, he wasn't trying to be too quick to the plate. That changeup right there was perfect. Started in the strike zone and then kind of faded away for an easy double play.
Manoah erasing the leadoff walk, although he's got a tough customer now in Carlos Santana, 38-year-old first baseman. First pitch, left-handed hitter, takes strike 1. Santana, a switch hitter, batting left. Second inning is brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Manoah coming back with a changeup for strike 2.
He is really leaning on that changeup today.
Just funny because he barely threw it in his first start. It was almost all fastball breaking ball. His 0-2. Bounced it to the plate, way in front. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes as Manoah throws it back to Cricket Day on Friday with that 45, maybe 50-footer.
Just trying to do a little bit too much with that slider, but I'll go with the Cricket Day.
Manoah with 1 strikeout today. It came on the changeup to end the first inning. Got Kepler to swing over it. 2 outs, bases empty. No score, top of the second. The righty's 1-2. A little bit outside with a fastball. Manoah looking down at the ball in his right hand. Looks in toward Alejandro Kirk. Kirk sets up inside and low. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Elevated the fastball and got Santana to swing through it. Manoah with a strikeout and a double play ball puts up another 0. It's 0-0, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
We're two men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're two men in a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kirk smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's good.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is your last chance to join in on Jays Care's 50-50 jackpot. We are just a few hours away from the grand prize draw, and you can take home over $420,000 tonight. Sales close at 10 Eastern. Go to bluejays.com/5050 from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Bo Bichette swings at the first pitch to the bottom of the second and lifts it to center. It's caught out there by Austin Martin. One down.
Now batting number 36, David Schneider.
Let's welcome our future announcer, presented by Rogers, 11-year-old Owen from Toronto, introducing David Schneider in this 0-0 game, bottom of the second, and one out. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bailey Ober kicks and fires. Schneider rests his pink bat on his shoulder, takes ball one, low and away.
I have to say, Owen was very good.
He was?
In 11 years, I'll be concerned about my job.
1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Another Junior Jays Sunday here at Rogers Center. 1-1. High ball 2. It's already been a pretty, loud, into it crowd. A big win yesterday for the Blue Jays, of course. The 2-1. Check swing, called strike at the bottom of the zone. 2-2. Schneider boosting his average to .287 with 3 hits yesterday, including a home run. 2-2. In the dirt, ball 3.
He's also got the fluorescent pink bat, the pink batting gloves.
A lot of pink going on today at Rogers Center. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fastball at the top of the zone beats Schneider. 3 Ks already for Bailey Ober, and with 2 outs, here comes Owen again.
Next, number 20, Daniel Vogelbach.
Again, that's 11-year-old Owen from Toronto. Here's Daniel Vogelbach with 2 outs and the bases empty. Left-handed hitting DH. Ober kicks and fires. And Vogelbach rips it to first. Leaping catch by Santana. Good contact, but an even better play. Ends the bottom of the second. Blue Jays go down 1-2-3. It's a scoreless game at the end of 2 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Jordan Romano, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Hanwell and Woodstock, New Brunswick. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com. Canada's #1 rust protection. Alek Manoah pitches to Christian Vasquez, who hooks it on the ground to third. Bobbled by Ernie Clement, and he kicks it out of his feet. And Vasquez will be safe at first. Third inning in a row that the Twins get a leadoff base runner, although that time not Manoah's fault. It'll more than likely go down as an error on the third baseman, Clement.
Well, it's never good to get the leadoff guy on base, but specifically for Alek Manoah, who thinks about that runner a little bit too much, and his heart rate starts to speed up, his mechanics start to speed up. Hopefully he slows everything down.
Dealing from the stretch, he pitches to Austin Martin, called strike one. Back-to-back Blue Jays first-round picks facing off. Manoah in 19 and Martin in 20. 0-1. Hit on the ground to Clement. Picked up at third. Throws to second for one. IKF to first. Double play. Alek Manoah and Ernie Clement making up for it right away. And for the second straight inning, the Blue Jays turn two.
Well, Ernie Clement is pumped up about that play there. Like you said, making up for that error on the first hitter of the inning. He's pumping his fists, makes that nice throw to IKF at second base, and he makes the easy throw to first base.
Martin runs pretty well. They had to be quick on that one. Now 2 outs in the bases empty. The pitch to Edouard Julien. Foul tipped into the glove. 0-1. Manoah with a step forward after that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Looks like he's building confidence as the game goes on. No score, top of the third. 2 outs in the 0-1. Fouled off, 0-2.
There's that changeup again. He is leaning on that thing today, and it's good. A lot of action, good arm speed. If you can get Edouard Julien to make a swing like that on a changeup, you know it's a good pitch.
Julien singled with 2 strikes back in the first, facing no balls and 2 strikes now. Manoah reaches back and fires. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Foul tipped into the glove of Kirk. Manoah skips off the mound with a third straight scoreless frame. No score, headed to the middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey everybody, I'm former IndyCar driver James Hinchcliffe.
And I'm Indy 500 winner and current IndyCar driver Alexander Rossi. And we're the hosts of Off Track with Hinch and Rossi.
Look guys, it's May, which means the biggest race of the year, the Indianapolis 500, is almost here. So make sure you join us every Monday and Thursday throughout the month as we bring you all the content you could ever want to prepare you for the most exciting day in racing.
So download Off Track now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Blue Jays fans, John Schneider joins MLB Network Radio every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app. The Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the third inning at Rogers Center. Still waiting for our first run. Bailey Ober throws the first pitch of the bottom of the third and delivers a strike to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, and Tom Young and Andrew Adams, our technical directors. 0-1. IKF takes a pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. 7-8-9 for the Blue Jays in this inning. IKF, Alejandro Kirk, and Ernie Clement. The 1-1. Off the end of the bat, a liner foul off to the right, and it's 1-2. Kiner-Falefa is on a bit of a heater right now. His batting average up to .284. 1-2. Swinging a fly ball foul to the left side, and it will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And the thing I love about IKF when he's up at the plate, especially in big situations, is he's not trying to do too much. He's just trying to put the bat on the ball, and that's it. That's really all he's trying to do.
1-2. Lifted to center, not very deep. Julian, the second baseman, called off by the center fielder. Martin sprinting in to make the catch. Looked like a tougher play for Martin, to be honest, when he gets there. 1 out.
Yeah, Martin was sprinting in, and I think Julian was kind of camped underneath it. But if that center fielder calls you off, you got to get out of the way.
So IKF set down, and with 1 out, here's Alejandro Kirk making his first appearance of the series. Right on right pitch. High, ball 1. Kirk batting .205, a homer, and 10 RBIs. 1-0. Tapped back to the mound, backhanded by the pitcher Ober, and the throw to first is there. 2 outs. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Timber Mart always has someone on deck to help you with any home improvement project. Before you begin renovating, visit the team at Timber Mart. They've got the know-how to make sure you come out swinging on your next project. Timber Mart, Canada's building center. The Isley brothers ring through Rogers Center as Ernie Clement steps up, the number 9 hitter, with 2 outs here and nobody on in the bottom of the third. It's one of the better walk-up songs they got. First pitch, inside, ball 1.
I know the one you don't like, but I won't say it.
I'm not sure I know, but I'll talk to you in the break. Figure it out. 1-0 to Clement. Called strike, 1-1. Ernie Clement started a double play in the top half of the third, right after he had committed an error. 1-1 pitch is stroked well to right center field. Backing up, Kepler, and about 10 feet in front of the track, makes the catch to end the inning. 9 up, 9 down so far for Bailey Ober. It's a scoreless ball game as we go to the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Your team is in the playoffs.
Anthony Edwards in the front court. Pulls up for the 3 and hits it!
And the place to hear your hometown announcers is the Sirius XM app.
He scores! Pasternak wins the series for the Bruins!
When the games mean the most, you need that hometown perspective.
An epic best-of-7 battle.
Syncing your hometown announcers to the action is easier than ever. Listen at home on your smart speaker or phone with the all-new Sirius XM app.
He scores! Are you kidding me?
Each night after the horn sounds,
NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Tatum saw it coming, picked it off, drives in, and throws it down with 2 hands.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
It seemed like we had a lot of guys that were getting banged up, but we were able to get the job done.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
After injuries caused Brooks Koepka to wonder whether he could ever be healthy enough to win another major, that question was answered at the 2023 PGA Championship.
Koepka taps in for par. Brooks Koepka is the winner of the 105th PGA Championship. Impressive performance.
His 5th major title came in a 2-shot win over Victor Hovland. Listen to the 106th PGA Championship beginning May 13th on SiriusXM Channel 92 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
The 4th inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19-plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Scoreless game, top of the 4th. Alek Manoah delivers a pitch outside to Trevor Larnach to start the 4th inning. 1 ball and no strikes. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left, Chris LaRue. We'll take a look at some out-of-town scores after Larnach hits. 1-0. Fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike. 3 innings down so far for Alek Manoah. And 1 hit, 1 walk, and then an error allowed. Those are the 3 base runners he's given up, and he's forced 2 double plays, so he's only faced 1 above the minimum. 1-1. Hit in the air to left, not very deep. Schneider creeps back, camps under it, makes the catch. 1 out, and let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. Former Astro Carlos Correa stepping into the box. Chris, did you see the Paul Skeens debut yesterday in Pittsburgh?
Oh, yes.
It was interesting.
Yes.
It was interesting. 4+ innings. He did end up with 3 runs on his line, but 2 were forced in after he left the game. First pitch is a swing and a miss by Correa, 0-1.
But they have 2 studs, 2 young, true rookies in that rotation. I feel like we say this a lot, but the Pirates could be good in the future, the very near future.
0-1 pitch is golfed out to left field. Schneider racing back on the track, makes the catch. 2 outs. Jared Jones, the other good starter, alongside Paul Skeens. Some scores going on today right now in St. Petersburg. Rubber match between the Yankees and the Rays. It's 2-0 Yankees. Top of the 3rd inning with the Bronx Bombers hitting. Jahmai Jones hit his first home run of the season, and Juan Soto hit a sacrifice fly to get the Yankees on top on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 2 outs on 2 fly balls to left. Nobody on. The pitch to Max Kepler. Low ball 1.
And the good thing about the Yankees and the Rays playing each other, somebody has to lose.
Someone's got to lose. Yesterday, the Yankees the only team to lose in the division because they lost to the Rays. The 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Kepler 0 for 1 with his strikeout, but working with a career-best 13-game hit streak right now. Had 2 hits yesterday. He'll ask for time. Alek Manoah steps off the rubber as time is called by Alex Tosi.
Alek Manoah has thrown only 40 pitches so far in his 3 2/3 innings.
Here's number 41. Popped up. 3rd base side foul, and that will slice and get behind the Blue Jays dugout by a row or 2. Mad scramble for the ball on the ground. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Manoah comes set. Infield shifted to the pull against the left-handed hitter Kepler. The 1-2. Low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hardest thrown fastball of the day at 96, but he yanked it. Manoah has ended each of the first 3 innings in a strikeout. His 3 strikeouts today. With 2 outs, the 2-2 to Kepler. Check swing. He went around. Strike 3. Strikeout number 4, scoreless frame number 4 for Alek Manoah. And there are zeros on the board, middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
How country is Blue Jays pitcher Chris Bassett? He's so country, he showers in his boots. His truck needs 3 parking spots. He's so country, he played the banjo in his high school band. Chris Bassett is so country that he wants you down at the ballpark for Country Night. Arrive early on Country Night to get your Chris Bassett Hound on the Mound bobblehead, live country music, and featuring a pregame performance by Owen Riegling. Country Night, Friday, May 17th. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting, because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Kevin Gosman. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host, and Jays Talk host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer, Andrew Adams, and Tom Young, our technical directors. No score, bottom of the 4th, and the pitch to George Springer is yanked down the left field line, foul into the side netting. 0-1. Bailey Ober has gone 9 up, 9 down for the Twins so far, although Springer back in the first really lined up a ball, just hit it right at the left fielder, Alex Kirilloff. The 0-1. Check swing pitch was low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Springer returning to the starting lineup today after missing 2 games with an illness. 1-1. High ball 2. He did pinch hit yesterday, draw a walk in the Blue Jays rally that ended up giving them the lead, and then played in right field to finish the game. The 2-1. Fouled on the ground and down the third baseline for strike 2.
What do you think about the pink socks and then the royal blue leggings peeking through, and then the baby blue pants?
As a colorblind guy, I love it. I'm wearing that combo all the time. 2-2, swung on and missed. Strike 3. 4th K of the day for Ober and his first out here in the 4th.
As a guy who can see colors, I don't know if I love that look.
I used to wear a lot of stuff like that and get a lot from my friends, but hey, it's just colors, man. Here's Dalton Varsho to the plate. 1 out, bases empty, in the pitch. Low ball 1. Blue Jays searching for their first hit in this pitcher's duel. Just 1 hit in this game. It was Edouard Julien, the guy who led off the game. Next pitch to Varsho. A hair called a strike. Never mind. Not called a hair inside, even though it was 1-1.
I think if you told me before the game that this was going to be a pitcher's duel, I probably would have looked at you and called you a little bit silly.
1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Ober not having his best season right now with the ERA around 4.5 coming in. Although he gave up 10 earned runs in his first start of the season. Has given up 6 in the previous 6. 1-2. Fouled back, headed our way, lands under our feet. Pardon me, Ober with 8 runs in his first start this season. Scratch the last thought. 8 runs in his first start. Has given up 10 earned runs in his previous 6. So really starting to look like himself again. 6'9" righty delivers the pitch. And Varsho gets it right off the end of the barrel. It goes straight to the left toward the third base dugout. Still 1-2.
And both starting pitchers today are relying heavily on that good changeup. Ober's got a very good changeup, and even Alek Manoah is showing a very good changeup today.
After Manoah threw it just once in his first start of the year. Into the wind, the 1-2 from Ober. High ball 2. Dalton Varsho struck out in the first inning. Coming off a productive day yesterday, though, had a double, a run scored, and 2 walks. Also had an RBI on that double. 2-2 pitch. Foul tipped and held on to by Christian Vasquez. Strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Ober, who has 5 and 2 outs in the 4th.
And that last fastball that struck out Dalton Varsho was a 4-seamer at 91 miles an hour. Dalton Varsho again swinging through it, but that kind of goes to show you how good, how effective throwing that changeup as much as Ober has today can really increase what the velocity seems to be on that fastball.
Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 0 for 1 with a strikeout, 2 outs and the base is empty. The pitch from Ober. Called strike 1. It's been a bit of a big zone so far, both ways. Pitch looked a little bit outside. Here's the 0-1. Fouled off a big rip by Guerrero. He grounds it into the camera well beyond the third base dugout.
Christian Vasquez was actually tapping the ground before Ober threw that pitch. That was a changeup on the inner half. That's a scary pitch to a guy like Vlad, especially how hot as he is right now.
2-strike pitch. Guerrero lays off the breaking ball away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Coming into today, Guerrero hitting .408 in his last 12 games. Hits in 11 of 12, reached in all 12. 1-2. Fouled off to the right. He had a long battle with Ober, although he struck out in the first. Went up there and faced 9 pitches before going down. That's why Ober, who has gone perfect so far, is up near 60 pitches here in the 4th. 1-2. In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. New baseball for the 6'9" right-hander. Turns perpendicular to the plate and looks in at his catcher Vasquez. Here's the wind and the 2-2. Low ball 3. Could hear Guerrero willing himself to lay off. It's a full count.
That's a tough pitch to lay off of right now, right there. Out of the hand, that looked like a strike. A good changeup from Ober. Dropped below the strike zone, and you could hear Vlad yelling at himself. I don't know who he was yelling at, but he was definitely yelling.
It's worked a full count with 2 outs. Trying to extend the inning for Bichette. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a liner. Right center field. Base hit. First of the day for Guerrero and the Blue Jays. They have a 2-out runner here in a scoreless game, bottom of the 4th.
He has been unbelievable. Everything he hits is on a line and hard. He has just been waiting for mistakes from pitchers, and Ober throws that fastball right over the middle of the plate. He just drills it back up the middle.
For him, 104 off the bat feels like soft contact. He's the guy who leads the majors in balls hit 110 or more with 18, 1 ahead of Juan Soto. 2 outs, Vladdy on first. The pitch to Bo Bichette. Fouled off 0-1. Bailey Ober working from the stretch for the first time today.
I have to admit, I was a little bit disappointed with that exit velo. I thought it was harder.
104?
Yeah, I thought it was about 110, 112, somewhere around there.
For a lot of guys, that's like your top 3 or 4 ball all year. Oh-1. Bichette fouls it off, 0-2. There are many home runs hit less than 104 miles an hour, especially if you thread it down the line. Bo Bichette picked up a homer yesterday, his 2nd of the season. His 6th against Minnesota in 22 games in his career. Has batted over 300 against the Twins. Faces an 0-2 count. Long look from Ober in the pitch. Down and away, ball 1. Vasquez liked the pitch, pumping his glove back to Ober. Good take by Bichette.
Very good take by Bo Bichette. He swung at that pitch pretty often over the last couple of weeks, and that's a good sign, him taking that pitch right there.
Infield is playing Bichette straight up. Santana a step or two off the line at first. 1-2. High, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Outfield plays Bichette pretty straight up as well. This is about as base of a defense as you're going to see in the majors. But with more hits to right than to center or left this season. 2-2. Called strike 3. A spinning breaking ball lands on the inner part of the zone. Bichette upset. Talking with Alex Tosi. We'll turn back to the dugout. Scoreless game at the end of 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Mental Health Radio on Sirius XM is for the moments when life is hard, for when you're dealing with a challenge that seems overwhelming, for when you need support and hope. Bringing NYU Langone Health's leading psychologists and psychiatrists to you. Mental Health Radio can help you navigate difficulties like anxiety, depression, substance abuse, and more.
We're facing a crisis right now. We want to be here to help you.
Mental Health Radio, your 24/7 resource for advice and support. Just search Mental Health on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Net Radio Network.
The 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance, helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance with a heart so big, it shows. 0-0 at Rogers Center, just 1 hit apiece. Alek Manoah on the mound for the Blue Jays, pitches to Willie Castro, who pops up the first pitch. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa shields his eyes from the sun and makes the catch on the right center field turf. 1 out. Sun has suddenly come out. It was kind of an overcast day, some big puffy white clouds in the sky, but except for right at the back of center field, it's now bright at Rogers Center.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a chill to the air. I didn't bring my jacket today. I thought that the roof would be closed, so...
First day open of the 2024 season. 1 out in the pitch to Alex Kirilloff. Low ball 1. Short sleeves for Manoah all day, sun or not. Although he goes back to the jacket, wraps up the right hand in between innings. 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Kirilloff grounded into a double play in the second. Left-handed hitter faces a 1-1. Swings and misses. Strike 2. Fastball a little bit softer there at 92 as Manoah is working in his 5th inning. Still under the 50 pitch mark though. The 48th of the day from the right-hander. Got him. Top of the zone, fastball at 94. Swing and a miss for his 5th strikeout of the day.
And Alek Manoah stormed off the mound after getting that strikeout. He has all kinds of confidence right now. I tell you what, I was not expecting a fastball in that count. I was expecting a slider or a changeup there, and Kirilloff was too.
Stole that right out of my mouth. Here's Carlos Santana with 2 outs. Bases empty. Checks his swing on the first pitch. Appeal to third. He went around, says Phil Cuzzy. 0-1. For Santana, he's on his 5th team in the last 3 years. Traded at each of the last 2 deadlines. 2 years ago, It was Kansas City to Seattle, and then last year Pittsburgh to Milwaukee. He swings and misses at the next pitch, 0-2. So let's quickly look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 3-0 Boston over Washington at Fenway. Cedon Rafaela with a 2-run double, and the Jaron Durant scoring on a wild pitch. 2 outs, 2 strikes, base is empty. Manoah reaches back and delivers. A liner headed to right center over the leap of Kiner Falefa and down for a 2-out hit.
Way too good of a pitch there, 0-2. You have to elevate there, or you have to bury something. Alek Manoah knows that. That fastball was almost thigh-high right down the middle, and Carlos Santana, he's not going to miss that one. 95 right down the middle.
Looked like they were trying to go back to that same pitch that they struck Kirilloff out on, but it's a lot of fastballs so far this inning. Christian Vasquez is up, reached on an error in the third. He takes strike 1 on the breaking ball. Scoreless game, top of the 5th, 2 outs, and Santana leading off first. Not a threat to steal. The 0-1. Bouncer to short. Picked up by Bichette on 2 hops. He flips the short way to second, and that'll do it for the 5th. Another scoreless frame from Manoah around the 2-out Santana single. Still looking for our first draw in middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Fuel your fandom when you listen to live sports on the all-new Sirius XM app.
It's deep, it's going, and it is gone! It is bedlam at the bank!
Hear the games you just can't miss.
DiVincenzo again! Now, Knicks lead! 13 seconds to go!
And get closer to the teams you love wherever you are.
Connor McDavid wins the game for Edmonton!
The action you crave is just a tap away. Live sports. Live on the all-new Sirius XM app.
You gotta love sports! The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Staley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' 3rd national title.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth in a loud Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. No score, bottom of the 5th inning. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Davis Schneider will lead off for the Blue Jays against Bailey Ober. Schneider, Daniel Vogelbach, and Isaiah Kiner Falefa to hit for the Blue Jays this inning. Toronto with just 1 hit today off Ober, came last inning with 2 outs off the bat of Vladdy. 6'9" righty gets into the wind. His 66th pitch today is swung on and missed. Strike 1.
I think if Davis Schneider gets on here, you have to kind of think about manufacturing a run somehow. It's getting into that territory.
0-1 in the dirt. Check swing, appeal to first. No swing, 1-1.
Later in the ball game where 1 run matters. And I know that Daniel Vogelbach isn't the guy that you think of when you are trying to manufacture a run.
1-1 pitch, check swing, it's high, 2-1.
But if I'm John Schneider, you have to think about getting an easy run here.
It does feel like 1 run is going to do a lot in this 0-0 game. Both pitchers have allowed almost nothing. 2 hits allowed by Manoah, 1 by Ober, who misses downstairs and has fallen behind Davis Schneider. 3 balls and 1 strike. Schneider walking a lot recently in addition to the power surge. 3-1. Called strike. It looked a little off the plate outside. A borderline pitch makes it 3-2. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Put a fastball over the heart of the plate, and Schneider swung through it. 7 Ks already for Bailey Ober with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Let's take a look at the injury report brought to you by Bergmanis Prira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prira Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prira will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. Pitch to Vogelbach. Called strike one. John Schneider does not speak on Sunday, so no major updates on the Blue Jays side. Yariel Rodriguez is eligible to come off the injured list on Wednesday, although no word on him really pitching at a high intensity so far. Vogelbach takes down and in 1-1. Around the league, one interesting thing is that Walker Buehler will make his second start since returning from Tommy John 2022. He starts today in San Diego. 1-1 pitch called strike two. But no word on the Blue Jays right now. I mean, they got George Springer back in off the illness, which is good. Saw Kevin Kiermaier yesterday as a defensive sub. 1-2. Downstairs 2-2.
Guillermo Martinez, the Blue Jays hitting coach, went home with an illness yesterday. Do we talk about coaches and their injuries?
Just did. Yeah, there's been two illnesses that have circulated the Blue Jays clubhouse this year. This is the second one. 2-2. Bounced up the middle, but the shortstop Correa standing right there. He bobbles, but will throw out Vogelbach. 2 down.
Yeah, Carlos Correa, even though he bobbled that baseball, still got Vogie at first base by about 3 or 4 steps.
Combination of not a lot of speed going down the first baseline, and Correa does have one of the best shortstop arms in all of baseball. Here's Isaiah Kiner Falefa, 2 outs, nobody on, bottom of the 5th. The pitch. Down and away, ball 1. IKF, kind of a Minnesota Twin for a day a couple years ago. 1-0. Check swing. Pitch was outside. 2-0. IKF was traded from his first team, Texas, to the Twins back on March 12th, 2022. 2-0 offering. Swing and a miss. 2-1. That sent Mitch Garver over to Texas. He went to Minnesota, met his teammates, started to unpack his stuff, and then was traded a day later to the Yankees. 2-1 pitches, a strike, 2-2, with Josh Donaldson in a deal that sent Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela the other way and cleared up room in the payroll for Minnesota to sign Carlos Correa. 2-2. Swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt. Strike 3. 8 Ks in 5 scoreless innings for Bailey Ober. It's 0-0 after 5 at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
How can Blue Jays closer Jordan Romano improve on his already iconic entrance from the bullpen? Tim Meza and Eric Swanson had their own thoughts.
Hear me out. We shoot you out of a cannon. Picture this. Gate opens and you ride in on a moose. One word, roller skate. Super trendy right now.
Romano's thoughts?
I appreciate the ideas, but I got this.
On Monday, May 20th, the first 15,000 fans will get a Jordan Romano blue replica jersey. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
So that's a no on the moose?
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Romano offers an 0-2. Swing and a miss. There are 2 down.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance, helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance, insurance with a heart so big, it shows. 0-0. Austin Martin leads off, batting from the right side. Alek Manoah, the starter, deals to Martin, who grounds it to short. Picked up by Bo Bichette. Slung over to first, and there's 1 out.
Alek Manoah has now thrown just 54 pitches in 5 1/3 innings.
He has been all over the strike zone so far. 39 strikes and 15 balls. 1 walk today for Manoah.
Let's get the math on that.
Got to go back to the calculator. That's not in my wheelhouse. That's 72% strikes.
That's pretty good.
Here's Edouard Julien, has one of the 2 twin hits today. First pitch. Fouled off 0-1. Julien hailing from Quebec City. Hit a ball to left center field back in the first inning. He's got a lot of power the other way. Right on left pitch. Smokes it to left, but right at Davis Schneider, 2 down.
Yeah, you're right. He can go the other way with the best of them, and that line drive right there kind of proves it. A good fastball up and in almost by Alek Manoah, and he hits a good line drive to Davis Schneider. Didn't really have to move, though. Just caught it right at his face.
Schneider with kind of like aviator glasses out there. Not fully, but he kind of looks like Magnum P.I. right now with the mustache and the glasses. 2 outs. Trevor Larnach up. First pitch. Hit on the ground to second. Backhanded by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Throw to first, and it's a 4-pitch, 1-2-3 inning for Alek Manoah. He's gone 6 scoreless. The Blue Jays try to help him out when we come back in the bottom of the 6th. No score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
As Disturbed, Slipknot, and more prepare to invade Daytona Beach.
Pre-game for the 2024 Welcome to Rockville Festival.
With an exclusive limited engagement channel, Rockville Radio. Now for a limited time in the SiriusXM app.
And catch wall-to-wall coverage and performances from the Rockville Music Festival.
All this weekend on Octane, Channel 37. Schedule at SiriusXM.com/Rockville.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game. The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fan.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Sharing the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888-MAD-DOG-6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Bottom of the 6th inning, scoreless game. Blue Jays and Twins in a rubber match. Alejandro Kirk leads off and takes a first pitch high from Bailey Ober. Alek Manoah just completed a 4-pitch top of the 6th inning, so Ober quickly back out to the mound. 1-0. Outside, ball 2. Ober has been equally dominant. 8 strikeouts, no walks, only 1 hit allowed for the Twins right-hander. 2-0. Off the end of the bat, a swinging bunt that drifts foul down the first base line. 2-1. Ober, though, maybe not as pitch efficient as Manoah, especially with all the strikeouts. Next pitch will be his 85th. No one up, but some guys have gone to the upper level, at least, of the Twins bullpen. And could see some movement around there if the Blue Jays can at least string together some long plate appearances. 4th pitch to Kirk. Swinging a liner, left field. Kirilloff on the run, and he catches it headed toward the line. Good contact again, but run down by Kirilloff. There's 1 out.
That's a tough break for Alejandro Kirk. That was a good piece of contact right there. A good line drive to left field. Kirilloff tracks it down in the corner. You can tell he's just a little bit disappointed as he goes back into that dugout.
Now a mound visit from Christian Vasquez before Ernie Clement comes up to the plate. And Vasquez actually is going to use, what do you call that thing? The thing that gets the dirt out of the cleats. You don't know? You must have used it.
I have no idea. I've used it 1,000 times.
True. Well, the spiky thing on the back of the mound.
Yeah.
If anything, the infield, though, looking kind of dry. You see spots of light dirt coming all over the infield. First pitch to Clement. Outside, ball one. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, division-leading Orioles are down 3-0 to the Diamondbacks, bottom of the fifth. The 1-0. Clement takes again, strike one.
So I looked it up.
What do you got?
It is called a spike cleaner.
I was pretty close.
I'm disappointed in that name.
1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Although it's very to the point.
What a boring name.
Spikes that clean guys' spikes. 1-2. Bounce softly to third, foul. Clement had started down the line but never dropped his pink bat. He'll walk back to the plate. I think some dirt got in the eyes maybe on that ground ball of Ernie Clement. Reaching to his face for a moment, adjusts his helmet and steps back in. 0-0 game, bottom of the sixth. 1-2 pitch. Late swing and a pop-up. Drifting out to right field. Kepler makes the catch. Martin ran into him. It looked like Kepler had made the call, extending his arm out from here. He and Martin will talk it over. They did get the out, though, 2 down.
Max Kepler was pretty camped underneath that baseball, almost in straightaway right field. And Austin Martin came flying out of nowhere. I mean, I know Austin Martin has the call. It's essentially his call as the center fielder out there, but that was the right fielder's ball.
First pitch to Springer, hit down the right field line, slicing foul into the seats. 2 outs and the base is empty, 0-0, bottom of the sixth. Third time up today for Springer, who's lined out and struck out. Oh, 1. Foul back into the netting, 0-2. Just to tie a bow on that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, it was 2 sac flies and then a throwing error by Ramon Urias that plated the 3 runs for the Diamondbacks, who are up 3-0 on Baltimore in the fifth. 0-2. Springer takes in the dirt.
Ober's now at 93 pitches. I would imagine someone's about to get loose over there in that bullpen.
No one up for now. Ober's given up just 1 hit today. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. There's his 9th strikeout of the day in 6 scoreless innings. We will go to the 7th without a run so far. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
When Blue Jays left-hander Yusei Kikuchi strikes a batter out, fans get to witness the Kikuchi K-Strut. What is the K-Strut? It's an arms-flailing, feet-kicking, fist-pumping, head-spinning, energy-recoiling, absolutely electric strikeout celebration that, well, you just gotta see it.
He's something else, man. Swing and a miss.
On Wednesday, May 22nd, strut down to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans get a Yusei Kikuchi bobblehead. What do you say? Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your TimberMart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. Third home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Country Night returns on May 17th. Come out early so you don't miss a live pregame performance by Owen Rigling. Visit bluejays.com/country to get your tickets and be part of the country music celebration. Top of the 7th inning in this rubber match, Blue Jays and Twins. Scoreless game. Alek Manoah still on the mound, and his pitch to Carlos Correa is outside 1-0. 3-4-5 for the Twins. Manoah's third time through the order, but his pitch count still below 60. His 1-0. Called strike to even up the count.
It is the top of the 7th inning, and Manoah just threw his 59th pitch. That is wild.
Got a 4-pitch top of the 6th with 2 ground balls and a fly ball. 1-1. Correa hits it on the ground softly to short, picked up by Bo Bichette, who will throw out his fellow shortstop Correa for the first out. On the other side, with Bailey Ober over 90 pitches, the Twins have Cole Sands, the right-hander, getting loose, who pitched in yesterday's game. Max Kepler up to the plate now. 1 out, nobody on, top of the 7th, and no score. Right on left pitch with the sun shining again. Kepler hits it down the right field line, hooking toward the corner, and it's foul. Looked like trouble for a moment, just landed in the first row of seats. A spot that wouldn't have been fair last year, but might have been open territory last season.
And kind of just to put things in perspective, on May 5th, Alek Manoah's last start, he threw 4 innings, threw 92 pitches.
He's walked just 1 today. He's given up just 2 hits. 0-1. Down and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. And he struck out Kepler twice so far, who's one of the hottest hitters in Major League Baseball. Owns the longest active streak in baseball with 13 games on his hit streak. He grounds the 1-1 to the third baseman Clement, who bobbles, and Kepler will reach. It's a second error of the day for the usually sure-handed Clement, and a runner on with 1 out.
And we were talking about this earlier, but when guys get on base, the game kind of speeds up for Alek Manoah. And I know everything looks good right now. Everything is compact and everything is slow. But I really hope that with Max Kepler on first base that Alek Manoah can keep that composure and keep the game slow.
Willie Castro up. Clement comes in watching the bunt, and the first pitch to the switch hitter batting left is strike 1.
That's a good sign right there. He was compact with that delivery. He didn't try to do too much. He wasn't too quick to the plate, and made a nice pitch down and away to Willie Castro.
Manoah's next offering. Fouled off the glove of Kirk and back into the netting. 0-2. Blue Jays have turned a pair of double plays today. 1 in the second after Castro walked. The batter's up right now. And 1 in the third after a Clement error. He started a 5-4-3 double play. Has made 2 errors now on the day. And that's why there's a runner on first in Max Kepler. Castro pinwheeling the bat twice. The Twins hitter ready to go. 0-2 pitch. Lined foul off to the left.
If I'm Ernie Clement after making 2 errors today, I'm going in the clubhouse, taking those pink socks off and putting on my normal socks and coming out for the 8th with blue socks on.
Oh, 2 again. High, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Let's take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Red Sox were up 3-0 on the Nats, but Eddie Rosario has hit a 2-run homer for Washington, and now in the top of the 5th, the Nats trail 3-2, and they're batting right now on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 1-2 pitch. Line to right and down for a base hit. Kepler had to wait to see if that got over Kiner Falefa. He'll jog to second. Castro with a base hit. And now first and second. First time a runner has been in scoring position for either side today. The Twins have 2 on with 1 out.
Before Alek Manoah threw that pitch, you could see Alejandro Kirk pointing at the ground. Alek Manoah ended up throwing just a spinning slider over the middle of the plate, and Willie Castro drilled it just over the outstretched glove of IKF at second base.
It's the first legit jam that Manoah is trying to escape here. Kepler on second, Castro on first, 1 out, and the right on left pitch to Alex Kirilloff. Slider backed up and missed outside, 1-0.
But that's also kind of what happens when you try to be too quick to the plate. You don't get the extension that you would normally get, and then that slider, those off-speed pitches are just spinning off-speed pitches.
Next offering, a little bit high, 2 balls and no strikes. Alek Manoah's gone through 6 1/3 scoreless, but 2 on right now, and the 2-0 to Kirilloff is bounced to second base, picked up by IKF, turns, throws to Bichette for 1, and that's the only play they are able to make. That wasn't hit very hard, but the Blue Jays get an out. Fielder's choice brings Kirilloff to first and Kepler to third, and there are 2 down with runners on the corners.
I didn't even think they had a chance at Castro at second base, but IKF with the quick feet, the quick turn, gets it to Bo Bichette at second base, but Bo puts that thing in his back pocket, not throwing him out at first base.
So Manoah, an out away from stranding a pair. However, this is a tough matchup. Carlos Santana was off to a slow start this year, but has homers in back-to-back games and hits in all 3 games this series. Is at the plate, batting left. The pitch. Just outside, ball 1.
Yeah, Carlos Santana has done damage on fastballs in this series. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even really throw him one here.
The 1-0. Missed a little bit away with the changeup. 2 balls and no strikes. There is a base open right now. It's first and third for the Twins. Christian Vasquez is waiting on deck, who is off to a tough start at the plate this season. Manoah's 2-0. Hit in the air, right field. Going back, Springer, Varsho backing up as well. It's gone. Carlos Santana with a 3-run homer has blown this one open. 3-0 Twins.
He has hit everything hard during this series, and he hits that changeup just over the fence in right center. That's what happens when you fall behind a good hitter. You have to come back with a strike. 2-0. And Carlos Santana knew that thing was coming, and he did not miss it.
3 homers in 3 games for Santana. Hits at 399 feet to right center. 2 outs and the base is empty now. Christian Vasquez is up. First pitch. Fouled back 0-1. None of those runs, by the way, will be earned against Alek Manoah, as there was an error. And the run's coming in with 2 outs. The inning should have been over, but that doesn't change the scoreline right now. The Twins have jumped in front. 0-1 in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Manoah shrugs his shoulders. Comes set. 1-1 pitch. Off the end of the bat, a roller toward the first baseline. Foul, and it's 1-2.
And seeing the replay on that Santana home run, it wasn't the pitch selection, it was a changeup. I actually agree with the pitch selection. It was more so the location. You could see it in slow motion. Alek Manoah got underneath that changeup, and it kind of just floated across the outside of that strike zone. And when you throw a thigh-high changeup to Carlos Santana, he's not going to miss it.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Manoah's gone through 7 with no earned runs, but the error, the base hit, and then the home run have made it 3-0 Twins at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big. On this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Varsho smashes the ball to right field. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 7th inning at Rogers Center. Rubber match with this series on the line, and the Blue Jays trail 3-0. An error, a base hit, and then Carlos Santana home run have put the Twins on top. That came in the top half of the inning. Dalton Varsho leads off against Bailey Ober in his 7th inning of work. Right on left pitch is fouled back. 0-1. That pitch for Ober, his 95th. With the Twins leading, they make a defensive change. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Kyle Farmer has subbed into the game for Austin Martin. Farmer will play third. Willie Castro moves from third base to center field. 1-1. Varsho takes strike 2. Cole Sands was loosening up when the Twins were hitting. He's back up again. And the next pitch to Varsho is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It also looks like Alek Manoah is going to stay in this ball game. Go out for the 8th inning.
He should have been out of that 7th before Santana even hit. 2-2. Hit foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Some may question whether they should have thrown anything close to the zone against Santana after falling behind 2-0. But the pitch from Manoah, while elevated, was still pretty far out, and Santana is just on a tear right now. 2-2. Fouled back, nearly secured by Vasquez. It tips off his glove and falls behind him.
Yeah, but you were talking about it right before that swing. They did have that open base. Christian Vasquez was coming up next. Do you kind of just try to pitch around him at that point?
Bounce a couple of sliders maybe. Next pitch to Varsho, hit foul, still 2-2.
But just like Vlad Guerrero, he is red hot. So do you even want to give them a chance for him to do exactly what he did?
3 homers in 3 games for Santana. Blue Jays looking for a comeback on a 2nd straight day. 2-2 again. And Varsho rips another one foul. Ober now over 100 pitches as he's had to deal 7 to Varsho to start this inning.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last hitter here, especially with Vlad on deck.
2-2 once more. Fouled back again. Varsho's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Looking to start a rally here for the Blue Jays, who did come back from 6 yesterday, their largest comeback since April 9th of last year against the Los Angeles Angels. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Varsho goes down. 10 Ks today for Bailey Ober, and Rocco Baldelli is out of the Twins' dugout. They'll make a pitching change with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Twins up 3-0. Let's go over to our host today. Here's Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Before we check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, a reminder
that we do have Jays Talk today. I am solo, so I will need your phone calls and your texts, 590, 590, name and location. I know you all know the numbers, but I will still throw them out for you to call at the end of this ball game. All right, let's check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Stanley Cup playoff action continuing. Round 2 still on the go. 2 games scheduled today. Panthers at Bruins. Game 4 of this series will go tonight. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Puck drop. Bruins are without Brad Marchand. He is officially out due to an upper body injury. His status for Game 5 in question as well after taking a hit from Sam Bennett. Florida currently leading the series 2-1. You can watch the game on Sportsnet later on tonight. The big game of the evening, Canucks at Oilers. Been a dramatic series so far, so we'll see if the theatrics continue in Edmonton at Rogers Place. 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Puck drop, series tied 1-1. You can watch it on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet. Listen to it on Sportsnet 650 with our pals in Vancouver as well. Canucks Central will get you set both pre and post. Looking forward to hearing the boys later on tonight. In the NBA, 2 games on the schedule. Knicks Pacers about to get started in about half an hour. New York leading the series 2-1. You can watch Pascal Siakam and company on Sportsnet 1. Later on this evening, we'll get Nuggets at Timberwolves, Game 4. Minnesota leading the defending champs 2-1, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific tip-off. You can watch that one on Sportsnet 360. And in the NBA as well, the NBA draft lottery is right now actually going on just about 10 minutes ago, 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific on Sportsnet 1. The Raptors, 9% chance of landing the number 1 overall pick, a 45.8% chance of keeping their top 6 pick. However, due to the Jakob Poeltl trade of a few years ago, if the Raptors land a pick between 7 and 14, that selection will go to the Spurs. Otherwise, if they land 1 to 6, they keep it, and that conditional selection conveys the 2025. Watch it right now on Sportsnet 1. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stepping into the box for Cole Sands, who's on the mound in relief of Bailey Ober. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. The Blue Jays trailing 3-0, and they could use a spark here from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Has the lone Blue Jays hit today. He'll face Cole Sands now, the right-handed reliever. First pitch. Vladdy take it all the way. It's low ball 1.
It looked like he was pulling up his pants as the pitch was crossing home plate. He was definitely taking that all the way.
Right on right, 1-0. Guerrero leans back out of the way. 2 balls and no strikes. Second day in a row that the Blue Jays have seen Sands, who pitched an inning and a third yesterday, gave up 3 hits and 3 runs. That included the Danny Jansen 2-run homer. 2-0. Low again, ball 3. And Sands a pitch away from doing what Ober didn't do all day. Ober went 6 1/3 with 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and struck out 10. Sands in the set. Kicks and fires. Guerrero takes the pitch outside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk. And the Blue Jays have a base runner here with 1 out. Here comes Bo Bichette with the Blue Jays down 3-0. Bottom of the 7th. Vladdy on first. Alex Tosi calls time behind home plate, briefly resets the clock, and we're ready to go. Sands entering this game with an ERA just above 4. Deals to Bichette, who bounces it through the hole on the right side, of base hit. Guerrero had to duck out of the way. He heads up to second, and the Blue Jays have 2 on with 1 out, and the tying run comes to the plate. It's Davis Schneider.
And there was a big hole on the right side there. Carlos Santana was holding Vlad on at first base. Julien was shaded towards second base. And Bo Bichette, so smart, just goes with that pitch and bounces a weak ground ball through the right side. Now the Jays are cooking.
For Bichette, hits in 4 straight games now. And here's Davis Schneider. They could use some of that power right now. 8 doubles, 4 homers for Schneider. He's up with 2 on and 1 out. Pitch from Sands. Called strike 1 on the outside edge. Cole Sands uses a cutter, a 4-seamer, a splitter, a curve, and sometimes a sinker. Righty peeks at second and delivers. Down and away, 1 ball and 1 strike. Sands facing his third batter, and Rocco Baldelli has Cody Funderburk, the lefty, getting up. Daniel Vogelbach is scheduled to hit next. 1-1. Outside ball 2. Christian Vasquez is going to go out and talk to Cole Sands, who's thrown 6 balls and 2 strikes, and one of those 2 strikes was the Bo Bichette base hit.
Yeah, this is a big pitch right here for Davis Schneider. You have to know the zone that you're looking for. If you're looking for something on the inner half, do not swing at something up. Don't swing at something away. You have to really zone in on your pitch right now.
Schneider running a Major League Baseball best .510 on base percentage since April 23rd. 0 for 2 today with a pair of strikeouts. The 2-1. Down and away, ball 3.
It's a good take right there. Tough slider. Just off the plate.
Schneider adjusts his helmet. Twists and twirls his pink bat. Guerrero on second, Bichette on first, 1 out. 3-1. Right on the outside edge with a fastball for strike 2. Good pitch there by Sands.
That's all right. That's a pitcher's pitch. You don't really want to swing at that, especially in a 3-1 count. That was a strike, but it was on the black on the outside part of the plate. Davis Schneider couldn't have done anything, even if he did swing right there.
Vogelbach waiting on deck. Danny Jansen's on the top step of the dugout as well. First, the 3-2 to Davis Schneider. Line drive, left field, foul. It bangs off the retaining wall. It was a foot or 2 from extra bases for Davis Schneider, who walks back and reclaims his pink bat. On replay, definitely foul. A near miss for Schneider, whose eyes went to the sky, but he's ready to go again. 6 pitches already in this at-bat. 3-2 again. Hit him. Check swing, appeal to first. No swing, says Dan Bellino. Davis Schneider turned his body open to try to get out of the way, but he did not swing, according to the first base umpire. So the bases are now loaded for the Blue Jays. Minnesota is looking at this. They can challenge whether it hit him or did not, but they can't challenge a swing.
And that ball actually hit him in the forearm, kind of like Danny Jansen does a lot of the time, where he brings his forearms through and then he exposes that forearm. And I don't know, I'd love to see a side view of that, because it kind of looked like that barrel came through.
Cole Sands comes on, a walk, a hit, and a hit batter allowed, and his day is done. With Daniel Vogelbach scheduled to hit, they'll go to the lefty, Cody Funderburk. Blue Jays have the tying run on the bases, 3-0 Minnesota, bottom of the 7th. Let's go over to our host today, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. Another reminder that we do have Jays Talk today. I am solo this afternoon, so I'll take your phone calls and your texts. You can keep the texts coming right now. I see a couple there already. 590-590, name and location. That is the People's text line, and you know the numbers. You guys know the drill, but I'll still throw them out for you to call at the end of this ball game. And let's check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Let's start in Major League Baseball. Take a look at some scores happening right now this Mother's Day. First of all, Rangers-Rockies. That game did start in a delay. It is still delayed in Colorado at Coors Field. Some other games going on right now. Cubs leading the Pirates 2-1. The Nationals trail the Red Sox, going to the bottom of the 6th inning, 3-2. The Diamondbacks pummeling the Orioles right now, 5-1, top of the 6th. The Orioles top 7 runners on first and second with 2 outs. Astros lead the Tigers 2-0 in Detroit at Comerica Park. The Yankees pummeling the Rays as well, 6-0. The Rays getting beat at the top of the 7th with 2 outs there. Other scores around Major League Baseball. The Marlins lead the Phillies 6-3. The Guardians blanking the White Sox 4-0. And the Cardinals are trailing the Brewers 3-1. Our Sunday night baseball matchup, which will be on the Sportsnet Radio Network, Braves at Mets, which goes 7:10 p.m. Eastern, 4:10 p.m. Pacific. Bryce Elder, Luis Severino, the pitching matchup for Sunday night baseball. Stanley Cup playoff action continuing. 2 games scheduled on Sportsnet tonight. Panthers at Bruins, Game 4 of this series, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Puck drop. Florida leads that series 2-1. You can watch the game on Sportsnet, the main channel. And the big game of the evening, Canucks at Oilers. We'll see if the theatrics continue in Edmonton, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. The series tied 1-1. Watch it on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet. Listen to it with our friends at Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Danny Jansen stepping into the batter's box. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Maybe the pivotal plate appearance of the game. Bases loaded for the Blue Jays. 1 out, down 3-0, bottom of the 7th. With the left-hander Cody Funderburk brought into the game, the Blue Jays pinch hit Danny Jansen in the place of Daniel Vogelbach. First pitch to Jansen. A fastball at the knees, strike 1. Funderburk making his 14th appearance of the season, an ERA close to 5. And he particularly is tough on lefties. Actually gets hit pretty hard by right-handed hitters like Jansen. 0-1. Good pitch at the knees again, 0-2. Righties are hitting .324 off Funderburk this year with 3 doubles and 2 homers as opposed to just 1 extra base hit for lefties against the tall left-handed reliever. Bases full, 1 out. The 0-2. High, ball 1.
Christian Vasquez telling Funderburk to calm down, kind of using both his hands, pushing against the ground. Almost threw that pitch to the backstop.
1-2. Grounded foul. Hit Jansen on the bounce back up. And it's still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bailey Ober was great today. Came out of this game in this inning after striking out Dalton Varsho. Cole Sands did not record an out in 3 batters faced. Guerrero on third, Bichette on second, Schneider on first, and Jansen barrels up a ball to center field. Castro going back. He's under it. He makes the catch. Vlad tagging from third. He'll come in to score. The Blue Jays are on the board on a sacrifice fly. It's 3-1.
Yeah, I thought Danny Jansen hit that ball further than he did. I think he might have got it off the end of the bat just a little bit. Castro does a good job tracking it down and then keeps Bo Bichette at second base with a good throw to third base, but Blue Jays get 1 run back, 3-1.
I think Castro thought it was hit further too. He scrambled back and then stopped under it. Now the Blue Jays will ask for a 2-out hit from IKF. First pitch, nearly hit him in the back foot, ball 1. Twins pen gave up 5 runs yesterday and a couple inherited runs as well after Simeon Woods Richardson came out. Today they've given up the lone Twins run after 6 1/3 scoreless from Bailey Ober. That run charged to Cole Sands, who's still responsible for Bichette on second and Schneider on first as well. 3-1 Twins, bottom of the 7th, 2 outs, and the 1-0 pitch to IKF. Fastball for strike 1. Funderburk has a cutter and a slider to go along with his sinker, leaning into that slider a little bit more this season. 1-1. Swinging a liner, right side foul into the netting.
And again, IKF's so good at just not trying to do too much. He knows the situation. He knows that the Blue Jays are trying to score that run from second base with 2 outs. He's just trying to drop something in front of an outfielder out there.
Outfield is playing in a little bit. 1-2. Fouled off by IKF. With runners in scoring position this year, Kiner Falefa batting .308. With runners in scoring position and 2 outs like there are right now, he's batting .385. 12 runs driven in for the Hawaiian infielder. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Chase the fastball upstairs. He goes down, and that's the inning. The Blue Jays get on the board with a sacrifice fly by Danny Jansen, but they leave 2 on after 1 hit. Hit batter and a walk. 3-1 ball game after 7. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Nobody covers the National Football League like SiriusXM NFL Radio.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Get the latest news from OTAs to minicamps, all the way through training camps.
We don't care about expectations. Talk doesn't win games.
Our panel of experts is getting you ready for the 2024 season.
The more I watch this guy, the more I like him.
There's a story for every team on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Golf in 2024 has been dominated by one man.
Scotty Scheffler is the Masters champion.
The season's second major championship has the world's best players trying to win the Wanamaker Trophy.
Brooks Koepka is the winner of the 105th PGA Championship.
And you can hear all the action on SiriusXM. PGA Championship Radio returns next week with play-by-play from Valhalla Golf Club starting next Thursday on Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM
Radio Network.
Blue Jays get into the bullpen. Here in the 8th inning, they trail 3-1 to the Minnesota Twins. All 4 runs in this game coming in the 7th. Alek Manoah now out of the game, and Eric Swanson will take over. Looking to build on his performance yesterday when he pitched a 1-2-3 7th. Now he gets the 8th against Kyle Farmer, Edouard Julien, and Trevor Larnach. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Manoah goes 7 innings, does not give up an earned run, but a 2-out homer after an error spoils the line a little bit for the Blue Jays starting pitcher. First pitch to Kyle Farmer. Sun shining at Rogers Center, and the pitch is outside, 1-0.
I believe if that bottom half of the 7th inning didn't go as long as it did, Alek Manoah would still be in this ballgame.
1-0. Swinging a high drive down the left field line, hooking toward the corner. It's foul by a few feet. A near miss there for Farmer, who nearly went yard in his first at-bat of the game. Came in defensively at third base in the bottom half of the 7th.
Eric Swanson came into the ballgame yesterday and did a great job. 3 up, 3 down innings, striking out 1. But that split finger right there was right down the middle. Kyle Farmer almost hit a solo shot.
He's known more for the glove than the stick, although had a good year last year in his first as a Twin. 1-1 pitch, low 2-1. For Farmer, he's waiting on his first home run of the year. Gotten to double digits in each of the last 3 seasons, with 16 as his career high back in 2021 with the Reds. 2-1. Fouled back in the air behind the plate and into the seats, 2-2. Be ready to celebrate a Canadian holiday. Join the Blue Jays at Rogers Center on Monday, May 20th at 3:07 and be among the first 15,000 fans to receive a Jordan Romano blue replica jersey giveaway. Head to bluejays.com/promotions to get your ticket now. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Put the fastball past him, 1 down.
Good fastball right there. Kyle Farmer thinking something off speed, probably a split finger. And Eric Swanson just sneaks that fastball by him on the outside part of the plate at 93.
Tougher tests coming up now, though, with the top of the order. It starts with Edouard Julien. 1 out, no one on. Julien 1 for 3. Right on left pitch. Just outside, ball 1. Mentioned the opposite field power of Julien last time he was up. He leads Major League Baseball in opposite field homers with 5. 1-0. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. It's been a breakout year power-wise for Julien in general. 7 homers already. He hit 16 in over 100 games last year. 2-0. Again, a near miss outside with the splitter. 3 balls and no strikes to the Twins' second baseman. The pitch. Hit on the ground and past the second baseman, IKF, into right field. Julien had the 3-0 green light and used it well, a one-out single.
Yeah, good swing from Julien. Just hitting a hard line drive through that hole on the right side of that infield. But that's what happens when you fall behind 2-0, 3-0. You have to come back with a strike. And if you have to throw something down the middle, a big league hitter will probably hit it hard.
So now a runner on first with one out, and Trevor Larnach up. 0 for 3. Let's go Blue Jays breaking out at Rogers Center. And the runner takes off on the first pitch. It's outside, ball one. Throw down to second is late. Julien fell off the bag for a moment, but gets back on in time. He's got a stolen base.
Well, that was just a slow delivery from Eric Swanson. Not really concerned at all with Julien at first base. And Julien takes advantage, gets a good jump, and slides into second base easily. Almost comes off the bag. Bo Bichette keeps that tag on his left hand there.
He just had the edge of that sliding mitt on second. Now a runner in scoring position for Larnach. A look at second and the pitch. Called strike.
I guess you can't really grab onto anything with that oven mitt. I've never put an oven mitt on.
No. He kind of just like presses it down on the bag, I guess. But he did stay on the whole time. Julien with a big lunge at second, now the 1-1. Swing and a miss on the splitter. A good one down and away. 1-2. Larnach is dangerous in these situations. 9 for 19 this season with runners in scoring position. That's a .474 average. Twins, one out, top of the 8th. Julien on second. Larnach at the plate. A look back at the runner from Swanson in the pitch. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Also not many guys with the pink cleats on today, but Eric Swanson with the vibrant, hot pink spikes.
Lots of pink around the ballpark on Mother's Day. 2-2. Bounce to second, picked up by IKF. Julien will advance to third, but IKF throws over to first for the second out. Now a runner 90 feet away from the plate, and Carlos Correa about to step in.
And outside of the 2 or 3 balls that Eric Swanson threw to Edouard Julien, he's looked pretty good. Including yesterday, the last 2 outings, Eric Swanson has looked a little bit more like the Eric Swanson of last year.
No one had a more disrupted spring training than Swanson. Was trying to strand the runner and keep it a 3-1 game. Pitch to Correa, called strike 1.
Good first pitch fastball there on the outside part, almost on the black at 94 from Eric Swanson.
Correa's hitless in 3 tries, a line out, a fly out, a ground out. 0-1. Upstairs, ball 1. Blue Jays have Nate Pearson up and walking around in the left field bullpen. He's been throwing for a couple batters, has slowed it down now. One in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. Swanson's thrown a fair number of pitches this inning, 17, 9 of them balls, 8 of them strikes. His 2-1. Down low again, 3 balls and 1 strike to Correa.
And you definitely don't want to come with something over the middle of the plate here to Carlos Correa. You still have to make a good pitch here, even though it's 3-1.
Swanson in the set. He kicks and fires. Down low, ball 4. A 2-out walk to Correa, and now runners on the corners.
I don't mind that pitch there. You fall behind a good hitter like that, you have a base open. That's a big run sitting on third base, so you don't want him to score on a base hit. Just put Carlos Correa on first base and move on to the next hitter.
Alejandro Kirk's going to give some signs to the infield with first and third in game 1. The Twins did try a steal play where the runner stopped in between first and second, and they sent Willie Castro home from third, but the Blue Jays sussed it out and threw him out. First and third with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. 3-1 Twins. The pitch to Max Kepler. Called strike one, a fastball just on the inner edge and upper part of the zone.
It's funny you mentioned that because that's such a spring training play. You work on that play a million times in spring training and think, that'll never happen. Why are we doing this?
0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Blue Jays did a really good job, though. Danny Jansen was the catcher. He threw down to second. Wasn't a great throw, but Kiner Falefa stepped forward to receive it and fired a strike back to Jansen. One. Line to right center. This is trouble, and it's down in the gap for a base hit. Jogging home is Edouard Julien. Getting the wave around third, Correa. Bichette's throw to the plate late. It's a 2-run double for Max Kepler. His hit streak up to 14 games, and the Twins lead up to 5-1.
And you could just blame those 2 runs on falling behind. He fell behind to Edouard Julien. He fell behind to Carlos Correa. And I think that's the most important thing, especially with Eric Swanson. We saw it with Alek Manoah today. He did such a good job of throwing strike one. If you can't throw strike one, you will give up runs, just like Eric Swanson has in this inning, and he has so often this season.
That makes it especially tough for the Blue Jays. While the Twins' bullpen has been shaky this series, the best guys, like every bullpen, are on the back end. And Griffin Jackson, Joan Duran are really tough. First, Billy Castro is high, ball 1. Castro's 1 for 2. He has a single and a walk today. One of 2 guys to reach twice against Alek Manoah. Next pitch is high, 2-0. 5-1 Twins, 2 outs and a runner on second, top of the 8th.
And again, just like that, Eric Swanson has fallen behind, 2-0.
14 balls to 10 strikes for Swanson. His 25th pitch of the day. Outside, ball 3. Nate Pearson is ready, and this very well could be it for Swanson, whether he gets the out or lets Castro reach. Right-hander tucks the ball in his glove. Looks at the plate, delivers home. Castro taken all the way, takes strike 1 at the top of the zone. Now the 3-1. Broken bat, pop up back of second. Barrel on the first baseline. IKF in right center makes the catch and ends the inning. 2 add-on runs for the Twins, though, give them a 5-1 lead, middle of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball painted at the bottom of the zone, and that's back-to-back strikeouts.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 5-1 Twins, bottom of the 8th inning. This one slipping away from the Blue Jays. It was 0-0 into the 7th inning. But the Twins with 3 in the 7th and now 2 in the 8th. Kirk takes a pitch from Cody Funderburk for strike 1. Defensive change for the Twins in the outfield. Alex Kirilloff out in left. And Manuel Margot has taken his spot. 1-1. Called strike 2.
And if you look back at why the Blue Jays are down 5-1, I think it really just, you can chalk it up to the pitchers falling behind.
1-2. Down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Alek Manoah only made one mistake today, but it was because he made that mistake after falling behind 2-0 to Carlos Santana.
2-2 pitch is hit in the air to center. Running back and now slowing up. The center fielder Castro makes the catch. 1 out. When a ball is sent to deep right field, you'll be there to catch it. Rogers Landing is the perfect place to watch the game and maybe catch some home runs. Go to BlueJays.com/outfield district ticket. Blue Jays in need of base runners here in the bottom of the 8th. Down by 4. It's 5-1 Twins. 1 out and the base is empty. Here's Ernie Clement. Shade over the field again. The left on right pitch fouled off the mask of the catcher Vasquez. 0-1. Blue Jays also simply have not come up with enough offense today. Again, they did not score against the starter. Only had 1 hit against Bailey Ober in 6 1/3. And they got the bases loaded with 1 out. Cody Funderburk came in and only allowed 1 run after Cole Sands had left a mess there out on the base paths. The lefty Funderburk in his 2nd inning unleashes an 0-1, missed inside. Wave going around at Rogers Center as Clement swings and misses at the 1-1. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Top of the order on deck. George Springer getting ready to hit. Funderburk's 1-2. Clement slices it into the seats, off to the right. It's a clockwise wave. Passing by home plate right now and headed toward the left field corner. All 3 levels involved. Trying to will a Blue Jays comeback. The 1-2. Clement bounces it softly to short. Sprinting in Correa. Gloves it forehand side. Throw on the run. Got him. Nice play by Carlos Correa. 2 outs.
Carlos Correa is so smooth over there.
He is one of the best in the game. Maybe the best defensively at shortstop in the American League. Won a Gold Glove in 2021 in Houston. Even though his hitting has been up and down in Minnesota, he has provided that really good defense at short. 2 down and his former teammate George Springer up. Sailed to the backstop by Funderburk on his 21st pitch. A big miss to make it 1-0. And his return to the lineup in the leadoff spot, Springer 0 for 3 today. A hard line out in the first and then a pair of swinging strikeouts against Bailey Ober. 1-0. Ugly swing there as he tried to hold back on a pitch inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That was one of the stranger swings I've seen this season.
It's just yes, 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 no, but it was too late.
And then he tried to pull the bat around the top of his head.
1-1. Springer bounces it over the mound. Funderburk ducks out of the way. Fielded awkwardly by Julien at second. Hard throw over to first to end the inning. Blue Jays down 1-2-3 in the 8th. We go to the 9th with Toronto trailing 5-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Netflix is a Joke Radio brings you exclusive comedy specials and stand-up from Netflix's massive library from the world's biggest comedians.
He's Mick Jagger. I pitched him a joke and he went, "Not funny."
We give you unparalleled access to Netflix's top premieres. And join Tom Papa and Fortune Feimster every day for interviews with the biggest names in comedy. Netflix is a Joke Radio, Channel 93. Search comedy on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Each night after the horn sounds,
NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Tatum saw it coming, picked it up, drives in, and throws it down with 2 hands.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
It seemed like we had a lot of guys that were getting banged up, but we were able to get the job done.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Shulman alongside Chris LaRue. Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our technical directors. Nick Blackmore, our producer today. Show Ali, our host, and he'll be hosting Jays Talk as well. You can already get your texts in at 590, and I'm sure a lot to be discussed here. After this rubber match is complete, we're an inning away, and the Blue Jays are trying to extend the game. They're down 5-1. It's the top of the 9th. Nate Pearson is pitching for Toronto, trying to keep the deficit at 4. He'll face Manuel Margot, who just came in defensively in the bottom of the 8th and hits for the first time today. Pearson's pitch. High ball 1. Margot, a longtime Tampa Bay Ray, swings at the 1-0 and fouls it back 1-1. Traded to the Rays ahead of 2020 season from the Padres, who we broke in with in 2016. And then traded this December with Tyler Glasnow to the Dodgers, then was flipped to the Twins for a prospect. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Nate Pearson has given up an earned run in each of his last 3 outings.
Pearson got off to that really big start to the year where he went several outings without giving up an earned run. One, 2. Check swing. The pitch was high. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and because of that, his ERA is now a little bit elevated at 5.5, 5.54 to be exact.
It's been an issue for the Blue Jays bullpen, not the top-end guys. 2-2. Inside ball 3. Jordan Romano 6 for 6 in saves so far this year. Jimmy Garcia's been one of the best relievers in baseball. Prior to injury, Chad Green had been really efficient for them. They've struggled more in the middle innings in situations where they're trailing by a couple runs. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase the slider in the dirt. Strike 3, and there's 1 out.
Yeah, Nate Pearson has been good in situations like this where the pressure really isn't that great. You're down by 4 runs. You don't have to worry that much about throwing strikes, but the game really speeds up on him when there's guys on base. He comes into a high leverage situation. The Blue Jays are ahead by 2 runs.
First pitch to Carlos Santana. Called strike 1.
And a lot like Alek Manoah, the game speeds up on him and he tries to do too much. And you can see today his stuff is great. He's throwing strikes. It looks like nothing is bothering him, and that's because they're down by 4 runs.
Next pitch to Santana outside, 1-1. Tough guy to get out this series this weekend in Carlos Santana. Twins are carrying around the summer sausage that they flip to each other. Ryan Jeffers flips to them when they homer. 1-1. Called strike, or pardon me, inside 2-1. I think they should just let Santana crack open that sausage and eat it after this series. I mean, he has homered in all 3 games. He has been the difference if the Twins do hold on to win the series. 2-1. Fouled back just off to our left and into the 200 level. 2-2. Impactful home runs from Santana as well. He homered to break a 1-1 tie in the 5th inning in Game 1. Homer to put the Twins up 7-1 yesterday in the third, and then today broke the 0-0 tie with a 3-run shot. He expands, though, on a pitch down and away, swings over a 2-2 curve. Strike three, back-to-back Ks for Pearson.
He's done most of that damage on fastballs, but his home run today, his 3-run home run off Alek Manoah, was on just a hanging changeup as he whiffs on that off-speed pitch from Nate Pearson.
There were 2 outs. Noah was close to getting out of it. Instead, he's hit with 3 runs, although none of them earned. Pitch to Christian Vasquez. Low ball 1. Vasquez is 0 for 3, reached on an error, then hit into an inning-ending fielder's choice and struck out. 1-0. Foul tipped off Kirk's mask. Vasquez, the fellow catcher, checking on Kirk. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Blue Jays down 5-1, top of the 9th. They do have the right guys up in the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Varsho, Guerrero, Bichette. 1-1, down and away, 2 balls and 1 strike. But they're going to be asking for a lot against a very tough back of the Twins bullpen. Joan Duran is warming up. Guy who averages over 100 on his fastball. 2-1, down and away, ball 3, skips to the backstop.
Yeah, we saw him throw a 102.3 mile an hour fastball on Friday.
Yeah, he came into the 8th inning of that game. They actually closed with Griffin Jacks. It's been a trend this year since Duran has come back from the injured list. Sometimes they'll just throw him into the toughest pocket of the lineup. Sometimes they give him the 9th. 3-1. Bounce to the left side. Picked up by the third baseman Clement. Cutting in front of Bichette. Throw pulls Vladdy off the bag, but he tags the runner to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Nate Pearson. Blue Jays looking for another big comeback, down 5-1. The bottom of the 9th is coming up next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rush Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Pitch to Kevin Biggio is rocked to right field. That ball is gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Joe Alley with you at the Rogers Center with Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. Jays trail the Twins 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk this afternoon. I am solo down here at the Rogers Center, so I will need your phone calls and your texts. 590-590, name and location. That is the People's Text line, which is always open. Keep it coming. I see a bunch here already, and I will throw out the numbers to call at the end of this ball game. Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Jays trail the Twins 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Joan Duran on the mound for the Twins. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The flame-throwing right-hander throws his final warm-up pitch before taking on 2-3-4 in the Blue Jays lineup. Dalton Varsho, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette will hit this inning. The Blue Jays trying to overcome a 4-run 9th inning deficit. The sun has come out once again, so the field looks more optimistic. Just shade in the deep outfield in left and center. And Duran on the mound right now. Into the wind, and his pitch to Varsho. Swing and a miss on an 101-mile-per-hour fastball. It's 0-1.
Duran's only given up 2 hits this season. Small sample size, only 6 innings. But just 2 hits and 1 walk.
The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Not a save situation for the Dominican right-hander, but the Twins looking to lock up a 6th straight series win. 1-1 pitch, hit off the handle, a weak roller to third. Picked up by Farmer, the former shortstop throws over to first and retires Varsho. 1 out.
Well, Duran threw a 101-mile-an-hour fastball earlier in that at-bat, and then he just threw a 97-mile-an-hour split finger. How do you hit that?
And still he hasn't flipped over the 87-mile-per-hour curveball yet. He's tough. Took over as full-time closer last year. Had closed a little bit in 2022. First pitch to Vlad is outside. Did throw that curve at 89, ball 1.
And most people would probably think, well, if that split finger is 97, it probably doesn't have much movement on it. But yes, it does have the split finger action to it.
Here's 1-0. In the dirt. Threw another breaking ball in there. 2 balls and no strikes. On a day where the Blue Jays have mustered only 2 hits and 1 run, Guerrero has reached base twice in 3 trips. A single and a walk, also a strikeout, and he scored the lone Blue Jays run in the 7th after Danny Jansen hit a sacrifice fly. 2-0. Vladdy taken all the way. It's a splitter at the bottom of the zone at 97. 2-1.
Imagine being able to throw 103 miles an hour and you're behind in the count 2-0 and you just flip a splitty in there.
Still trying to throw 83. 2-1. Guerrero swings and powers the ball to right. Kepler going back at the track, makes the catch. 2 outs. Blue Jays on their last chance bring up Bo Bichette down 5-1.
And as Vlad ran by Duran, Duran smacks him in the backside with his glove. Those two obviously buddies, but everything Vlad hits right now is on a line, and it is hard.
Pair of Dominican players greeting each other for a second there. Now with 2 outs, here's Bo Bichette. Bo's 1 for 3. The pitch. Hit him on the back. That's 98. And it caught Bichette, who stumbled for a moment, but appears to be okay. Blue Jays fans don't love it, but with Bichette appearing to be all right, Toronto will take a base runner right now. Actually got him right on the backside, left side of it. Got the meaty part in front of it. So Bichette at first, and here comes Davis Schneider, who was hit by a pitch in the 7th.
Well, most of the time you'd say, oh, that was an off-speed pitch. Better to get hit by an off-speed pitch than a fastball, but that was a 98-mile-an-hour split finger.
There's nothing comfortable to get hit by from the Twins closer. Santana not holding on Bichette. First pitch to Davis Schneider is high at 100, 1-0. Blue Jays with 2 hits today and 1 run. Big lead for Bichette. Looks like he's going to take off for second on the pitch. He does, and Schneider fouls it off. 1-1. Bo can eliminate a force at second base by taking that bag. Will likely get it on defensive indifference with the Twins up 5-1. Not too worried about Bo Bichette. Tying run is not on deck. It's actually the batter after with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. 2 outs, 5-1 Twins. Bottom of the 9th. Bichette on first. And the 1-1 to Davis Schneider. Bichette takes off. Pitch is a called strike. Bichette will stride into second on defensive indifference. And now the Blue Jays working on their final strike here. It's a 1-2 count for Schneider. Duran looking in. Sets at the belt. Kicks and fires. Missed down and away. Went softer there with the 88-mile-per-hour curveball. It's 2-2. Alek Manoah with a strong start today. 2-2. Check swing, pitch down and away. He did not go around, and it was just outside. It's a full count. Manoah with a strong start today, but an error and then a big mistake to Carlos Santana. Allowed a 3-run homer that put the Twins on top. Blue Jays mustered a run in the 7th, and the Twins added on 2 against Eric Swanson in the 8th. Full count, 2 outs, runner on the pitch. Lined up the middle, caught by Julien, running off to his left to win the game and win the series. The Twins take it 5-1 and 2-1 here in Toronto.
Well, the story today, of course, was the starting pitching, both from Bailey Ober and, of course, Alek Manoah. Alek Manoah was on all day long. He just made that one mistake to Carlos Santana, just like you mentioned, giving up those 3 runs. All 3 of those runs were unearned, but it was important that he came out and pitched well today, I think, for the Blue Jays management, the coaches, to see that he still has the capability to get major league hitters out and to go deep into ball games. And boy, he was good all day long. We were looking at each other a lot today, kind of just like, wow, that was great. That was a fast inning, a lot of first pitch strikes. He just came up against a good team, a good hitter in Carlos Santana, and today a great starting pitcher in Bailey Ober.
Ober and the Twins take the game 5-1 here in Toronto. The Blue Jays about to head on the road. We're about to send you to Blue Jays Talk, but before we do that, we'll take a quick break, wrap up the game, and then get you over there for your calls and texts. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hey, this is Dalton Varsho. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ready or not, here I come.
The Blue Jays fall in the rubber match 5-1 to the Minnesota Twins and lose the series before heading out on the road to take on the division-leading Baltimore Orioles. Appreciate you sticking around. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue here at Rogers Center. We'll get you to Show Ali and Jays Talk in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's look back at this one. On the front end, or just before the break, we talked about Alek Manoah and talked positively about him, Chris. It was a big step forward for Manoah today. He went through 6 scoreless innings to start the game, allowing 2 hits, 1 walk, and 1 guy reached on an error. He was really good, but the Blue Jays equally stymied by Bailey Ober, who allowed 1 base runner in the first 6 innings. He was perfect for 3 2/3.
The biggest thing for both of those guys was the changeup. Alek Manoah was throwing the changeup a lot more than he has in the past, and even Bailey Ober was mixing in that changeup. He threw a lot of good 2-0 changeups today. He threw a lot of changeups behind in the count, and I think that's one of the most effective pitches in baseball. When you're behind in the count, you can flip that easy changeup over for a strike. You're going to get a lot of either swings and misses, or you're going to get a lot of weak contact. And Bailey Ober got both of those today. But Alek Manoah, I was most impressed with him. He just, to come back from his start last game against Washington, where he looked okay sometimes, but for the most part, he just wasn't good. He wasn't effective. But today, he basically made a 180 and was a completely different pitcher, mixing in that changeup a lot more, like we said, but throwing strike 1 and strike 2, that is so important for a guy like Alek Manoah. He was great today. He lost the game, but he was great.
He really was, and he dealt with trouble effectively as well. He walked the leadoff hitter in the second, double play ball right after that. Error to start the third, double play ball right after that. The one jam he couldn't escape came in the 7th inning. Manoah gets the first out and he's rolling. He had just come off a 4-pitch sixth. Ground ball to the third baseman, Clement, who had a tough day in the field. He bobbles it for his second error of the day. A base hit and then a fielder's choice later. It's runners on first and third, 2 outs, and Carlos Santana, who hit the big home run in 22 for Seattle, hit the big home runs in game 1 of 2 of this series, and he stepped up for today's play of the game. Manoah's 2-0. Hit in the air, right field. Going back, Springer, Varsho backing up as well. It's gone. Carlos Santana with a 3-run homer has blown this one open. 3-0 Twins.
Well, Carlos Santana was 5 for 12 in this series. 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. He came into this game, or into this series, hitting below 200, but boy, oh boy, he's probably hotter over the last 3 games than he has ever been in his entire career.
3 home runs in 3 games for Santana. He had 4 in the previous 34 games this season. A veteran acquisition by the Twins this year. And if nothing else, it's paid off in this series. He kind of single-handedly won the Twins this series. The Blue Jays had a big opportunity in the 7th after Ober came out, striking out his 10th of the day to start the 7th. With 1 out, Cole Sands came in, walked Guerrero, gave up a hit to Bichette, hit Davis Schneider with a pitch. Blue Jays pinch hit Danny Jansen with the bases loaded and no outs. He just got a ball off the end of the bat, it appeared, hit a deep fly ball to center to score 1 run. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa would strike out to end the inning. And the Blue Jays really never threatened after that. The Twins scored 2 in the 8th inning. And although the Blue Jays had the heroics today, they still don't feel like they've really hit a rhythm as they dropped this one and dropped the series to the Twins.
Yeah, it was a tough series. I think yesterday they kind of got lucky and came back and won that game, but look who's coming up next, the Baltimore Orioles, and they have Corbin Burns to deal with tomorrow. That's going to be a big game, a tough series. You just got to come out. Yeah, you just got to see what happens.
That's why they play the games. Today, the Twins come up with 5 runs on 6 hits, no errors. They leave 3 on. The Blue Jays with 1 run, 2 hits, 2 errors, leave 4 on. Ober with the win goes to 4-1. Alek Manoah with the loss goes to 0-1. Game was a quick 2 hours and 20 minutes in front of 32,200 fans at Rogers Center with cloudy but sunny skies also above us here at the Dome as the Blue Jays fall in this one 5-1. They go to 18-22, the same record they had in 40 games in 2015. For the Twins, they go to 24-16. Chris mentioned it. Corbin Burns, the ace pitching for the Orioles tomorrow. Jose Barrios will go up against him, trying to bounce back from really his lone tough start of the season. That should be a really fun matchup. First pitch of that game is 6:35. We hope you can join us then, and we appreciate you tuning in today. Happy Mother's Day once again to all of the moms out there. Hope you have a great day. For our technical directors, Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Joe Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a good night, and get your calls and texts in because Blue Jays Talk with Joe Ali starts right
again. 5-1. The Jays lose to the Twins. They lose the series ahead of a tough trip to Camden Yards, which starts tomorrow in Baltimore. Show Ali with you. Like I said, this is Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet app. Give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Text me as well, 590-590, name and location, the People's Text line, always open. Maybe you're on your way home to get ready for Mother's Day festivities. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Maybe you're here at the stadium. Maybe you're waiting in line to watch your kids run the bases. It's a Junior Jays Sunday here. Whatever you like, you can text me, 590-590, name and location. Again, the phone numbers to call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. The power outage from the offense, just 2 hits, 1 run today, is something we'll get to. But for me, Manoah is where I wanted to begin today. 7 innings from Manoah, 4 hits, 3 runs, none of them earned. 1 walk and 6 strikeouts gives up the home run to Carlos Santana, unfortunately, effectively to lose the game. But you know what? Whenever Manoah's on the mound, good or bad, he is the story, right? Like, he, for better or for worse, he's the story. Dealing, getting smoked. He's the story. And you guys know this because I think most people felt this way, but when Manoah was called up to play the Nationals, I guess it was last weekend, I wasn't a huge fan of the move because for me, and I think a lot of you would agree, you wanted him to force the issue, right? You wanted him to force the issue by dominating AAA to the point that he couldn't stay down there any longer. But an injury to Yariel Rodriguez obviously is what ultimately forced things. And he goes out there, gives up 6 earned runs in Washington. And I think we all kind of collectively continue to wonder what's the kind of stuff he has. And today, I got to say, I loved seeing confident Alek Manoah. I think that's a big part of certainly not only his appeal, but almost like, because we talk about like mentality of athletes and how these guys basically have to believe, truly believe that they are the baddest you-know-whats on the face of the planet in order to play well, essentially. And maybe not every athlete's like that, but I think a lot of them are. And I get the sense that Alek Manoah is very much like that. So for him to go out there and look confident in his delivery, there were some spotty parts here and there. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't perfect, but I think that's big for him, right? I had said pregame, Julia was on with me pregame. She's busy in the locker rooms right now, grabbing sound and writing some words for MLB.com. But I had said with her pregame that what I would take from Manoah, kind of like a moral victory, and maybe that's what we're doing now anyways, but I would take 5 innings, let's say 3 to 4 runs given up based on everything we had seen in the last year plus. Like, right, for like most of you guys, I was looking for consistency. It was less about high heat and overall velo and more, could he locate those pitches, right? Last time out against the Nationals, he walked 4 batters. And early on in this game, I had some concern because the command of that fastball in particular, gosh, she was all over the place. I think it was Willie Castro. He walked on 4 pitches. I think each of those 4 pitches were like in each different corner of the zone, but just outside of the zone effectively. But he settled down, right? He was firing strikes, and that was the main positive. He actually threw strikes. And it sounds so simple and so obvious and kind of dumb to say, but that had been a huge negative for him. He was not locating in the past starts, even in those minor league starts. There were some starts where he's hitting guys, he was walking guys, and he just could not locate the zone. And going back to last year, one thing I've noticed about Manoah is when guys get on base, and I think a lot of pitchers do this, but maybe it's just because we're like hyper-focused on what Manoah is doing on the mound. He speeds up his delivery, like almost like he gets anxious and thinking about the guy standing on first base. But today, I thought he got ahead of most batters, and I kind of felt, kind of in the middle of that outing, a really big moment for him today was following the Ernie Clement error, right? Runner on first, nobody out. Doesn't seem to get too bothered or rattled. He induces another soft roller right to Clement, who starts that double play, and he was jacked up, like screaming at Clement pointing at him. And I honestly think that might have been like a turning point mentally for him, that he could kind of get out of that. And it wasn't the only point. He walked guys. I think each of the first 3 innings, runners were on base with nobody out. The first runner or first batter of the inning got aboard in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, on the other half of that, a second Ernie Clement error that allowed Max Kepler to get aboard, followed by a Willie Castro single, runners on first and second. And I was curious to see how he'd respond with attacking batters. And he had done that all day long. He did not throw a single fastball to either Alex Kirilloff or Carlos Santana. But Santana putting the Jays in their fans certainly in the torture chamber yet again. It's almost a little too on the nose, honestly. All right, let's check the text line. And the phones, 590, name and location. And 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590. I almost forgot what the phone numbers were, even though I've said them a million times. Star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones first, and we'll go back to the people's text line. Let's see here. Russ in New Jersey calling here on Jays Talk. Russ, what's on your mind? What did you think of Manoah's start, Russ?
I thought he was unbelievable. If you think about it, I think he was only 2-0 on 2 hitters. And that was the guy that he walked on 4 pitches, and Carlos Santana. He fell behind 2-0, gave up a home run. He had like 55 pitches in like the 6th inning, with the cover. The guy was good. He didn't let the first error bother him. Obviously, you don't want to give up the homer, and but with the Blue Jays offense, you're 3 runs might do the trick on most nights. So, I thought he pitched very well, like you said. I thought he was fired up. Like they said on the broadcast, Clement made the error. He motioned, don't worry about it, we'll get him. But again, another day that the offense does nothing. And this team last year was 24-16. They're 18-22 and going to Baltimore. You've lost 6 series. You haven't won, I shouldn't say, in 6 series in a row because you split the Phillies series, and the other 5 you've lost. Last year, the most you lost in a row was 3. So, I don't know. After Baltimore, it gets a little easier with Detroit and the White Sox a couple times, but if the offense is not going to hit, it's, I don't care who's pitching out there. If it's, Sandy Koufax, it's not going to make a difference. You got to score runs, and they just can't do it.
Yeah, hey, Russ, thanks for the call, man. I agree with you. I mean, the schedule, I actually wouldn't look past a lot of the schedule for the rest of May. Certainly the White Sox. Like, the 6 games against the White Sox, there was 3 games set. I guess it's not this coming, like not tomorrow, but next Monday. 3 games set against the White Sox here at the Rogers Center, and then the following Monday, the 27th, another 3 games set against the White Sox on the south side of Chicago. But you certainly can't look past any team. But, I mean, outside of that, I mean, Russ mentioned it. 3 games against the Baltimore Orioles, 3 games here against the Rays. And then, you know what? The Tigers, 4 games set against the Tigers. Tigers, I think they got off to a hotter start than we expected, but they're not pushovers, right? I think there's a good chance that Tarek Skubal is going to be pitching in that, and he might win the American League Cy Young this year. So, I don't know. It's not an easy schedule through to the end of May. Certainly got to talk about the offense, to Russ's point, right? And I think talking about the batting order decisions as well. I mean, the guys only mustered 2 hits and 1 run today. And on a day after you get 10 runs and 16 hits from the offense yesterday, Danny Jansen coming into the game in the 7th inning to pinch hit for Vogelbach. Davis Schneider batting 5th instead of leadoff, where George Springer struck out twice. And I mean, Schneider also struck out twice. But I've said this before, but on Jano, pinch hitting has got to be one of the hardest things to do in baseball. Like, you're sitting there cold the whole game, and then you're suddenly asked to deliver in a critical moment. And, I mean, Jano still gave the ball a ride to drive in a run with the sac fly. But, I mean, should he not have just been in the lineup to begin with? Like, I get that if the thought process is to play him every game in Baltimore, and I mean, you think he should, right? Then he'd play 6 days in a row if he had played today. I mean, he did play today, but if he had started today, I suppose. But you could have just DH'd him. Like, if we knew, and you kind of did know this, that Kirk and the old personal catchers thing, Kirk was going to catch for Manoah, and it largely seemed to work out for Manoah. There was no reason you couldn't have just DH'd Danny Jansen, right? Like, again, I understand you want to be giving guys rest days, but, I mean, come on. The team had 2 hits today. The guy could have played. He has an OPS of over 1,000, and he sat. It's just not the greatest of looks. Obviously, like, would Danny Jansen playing the entire game been the reason they win instead of losing 5-1? Maybe not. Maybe not. Like, you need certainly more from, well, everyone. You need more from George Springer. You need more from Kirk, obviously. You did need more from some of the other guys who had largely played well, like IKF and Ernie Clement and so on. But, I mean, the game, like, you're never going to talk about them losing the game because Ernie Clement and IKF didn't hit enough. That's never going to be the case, nor should it be the case, right? You're going to always talk about the performance of the top guys. But, yeah, the offense not getting it done once again. I wanted to read a couple of these texts. There were a bunch of these, Kimmy T and Bracebridge. It's funny. No more needs to be said. Cancel these post-game shows. Come back once the team is worth watching. It's over. It's not early anymore. I mean, it's not early anymore, but, I mean, Kimmy, I get paid by the hour, so I kind of need them to do these post-game shows. Blair and Barker, not so much. If the guys want me to do more because they don't want to watch as much, you know what? Who am I to argue? I see a couple of texts here. Let me just find them here about the batting order, and I thought it was really interesting. A lot of the texts about Vogelbach, and here's one from. This is from Tony in Kitchener. What has Springer done to deserve going up to the top again? Why can't Schneider just lead the lineup? Or why can't John Schneider just leave the lineup like it was? Also, Vogelbach needs to be DFA'd. He has no use. We could use some power from Aurelvis Martinez down in AAA. And there are some other ones about Vogelbach as well. Yeah, I see Scott in Burlington. Springer hitting the cover off the ball today would be a waste of good hitting to put him in the 9th spot. Springer probably should not be hitting leadoff. I can agree with you guys with that. But the Vogelbach's role, I find really interesting, right? Like, he barely plays as it is, but then in big situations, if he is coming up to the plate, on the rare times he does play, he's getting lifted as the DH. And obviously, like when it comes to Danny Jansen being the guy he's being lifted for, I think that definitely speaks to simply how well Danny Jansen has been swinging the bat. But at the same time, you got to think that it also speaks to Vogelbach not being the bat you want in that scenario, right? So if that's the case, like, what is his actual role? Orelvis Martinez, by the way, apropos of nothing, hit his 10th home run of the season for the Bisons today. But, as much as I'd like to see Orelvis play, if he's not going to play every single day, and it's a hard situation to sort because of the positional logjam, right? He basically will only play second. And you already have, like, Schneider, Biggio, Clement, and IKF who are already in that logjam. And so if you're not going to play Orelvis every day, I don't really see the point in bringing him up only to play once every 3 days when he could be getting reps in the minors. Maybe that also speaks to maybe you should just clear up a roster spot and trade one of those guys to make Orelvis play. His defense hasn't been great, obviously. They want him to work on that. He's committed a lot of errors in the minors, so obviously I think that's a big reason why he hasn't been called up. But at the same time, like, if it's not Orelvis Martinez, in theory, could that roster spot not be better used by literally anyone else? Like, Spencer Horwitz is a popular name I see. Jen in Toronto often brings that up. And I see Jen's text. I appreciate it, Jen. He's a little bit older, right? Kind of one of those, like, quad A type players. He could take that role that Vogelbach is using and is cheaper. Even if you didn't want to bring Horwitz up, Nathan Lucas would give you a different look in the sense of being a defensive replacement or a pinch runner, which the Jays have had issues with, right, in big spots. Addison Barger, he struggled when he came up, but we've already seen him, and he was swinging the bat. If it wasn't resulting in a lot of actual hits or runs, I think maybe you'd probably prefer to see him. I don't know. There are options in the minors for the Jays to go with, and obviously Joey Votto is a big question mark, but I don't know. I'm not convinced Joey Votto is real at this point. It must have been a really bad sprained ankle because, we saw him hit the home run in spring training. That was almost like 2.5 months ago, 3 months ago, whenever that was. Man, I'm not sure what Joey Votto is. It does somewhat feel like it'll be like Vladimir Guerrero Sr., I suppose, now, when he suited up for the Jays in the spring and then never actually played for them. I hope he does play because I think that'd be fun, but anyways, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones. Earl and Beaton calling in on J-Stock. Earl, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind is I'm not happy with John Schneider as the manager, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples why.
Sure.
In Game 1, when the Blue Jays ended up having 2 runs, he didn't walk Santana. He had a 2-0 count on him. And instead of putting him on base and facing somebody like today, Vasquez, he did the same thing today. He did the same damn thing. It was a 2-0 count. Put him on base, pitched to Vasquez, who's not hitting very well. But he let him, and he hit a 3-run homer. I mean, something's got to change. He's not a very good manager. I'm sorry. It's unbelievable the number of games he has cost the Blue Jays. I'm not saying the Blue Jays would have won, but I'm saying that it was better to walk Santana with a 2-0 count.
And a base open, too.
And place Vasquez.
Yeah, hey, Earl, appreciate the call, man. Thanks for calling in. I don't actually disagree, honestly. Like, you look at the 3 pitches Santana saw, and none of them were in the zone, right? So it's not like Manoah was throwing meatballs down the middle. All of them were away out of the zone from Santana, he's a switch hitter, but he was batting left, obviously. But like Charles' point, and to many of your points on the text line, at the same time, I am surprised we didn't see 4 fingers flash from John Schneider to give Santana the old Shohei treatment, right? Intentionally walk him, and again, like, if Christian Vasquez is the one who beats you, then you live with that. Like, he beats you and you live with that, right? But I mean, I think the reason too for me, it's not only because you want to be as careful as humanly possible, but also because of the person specifically, right? And again, I bring up like Shohei Ohtani, and like he's like probably the most dangerous batter in baseball, and we saw them do this. Remember, we saw them do this a million times when the Angels were in town last year. And Carlos Santana, like, specifically, has effectively tortured the Jays in basically every uniform he has ever worn, right? Twins, he's done it. We saw it today. The Mariners, the Pirates, the Royals. He did it when he was in Cleveland to a lesser extent, albeit that was a long time ago. You name it. He has done it against the Jays. He must love hitting against Toronto, both home and away. So I am actually surprised you don't just avoid giving him that opportunity, considering that he's also red hot at the dish. He homered on Friday. He homered yesterday. And I know Manoah was pitching well. And, again, Santana did not see a single fastball, because I think Manoah did kind of sort of struggle with the fastball today as opposed to the changeup or the sinker or certainly the slider, which generated a lot of strikes today. But, I mean, I believe the pitch he threw to Santana, which he jacked for the 3-run bomb, was a changeup, and it was a couple inches off the zone, outside of the zone, off the plate, on the I guess left side of the plate, if you're standing behind the plate. So it's not, again, I don't put a lot of the blame on Manoah, because I think if you feel that he is dealing and has the pitch count low, you do that. But then again, you could have also mitigated that with intentionally walking the guy. So I do agree with that. I got to say, having said that, is that a John Schneider decision? Is it? Like, I actually am genuinely asking, because I think a lot of what we have discussed is and not just today, obviously, like over the course of the whole season, over the course of the whole last season, is the role that analytics and the front office play in decision-making processes. And I think that's what irks a lot of people, and certainly what irks me, is that you're not really making decisions based on your own intuition. You're sometimes making decisions based on like a spreadsheet. And having said that, I almost feel like the analytics probably would have favored walking Carlos Santana to get to a much weaker batter in Christian Vasquez, especially at this point in his career. Let's go back to the phones. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590. Let's go to Guy in Toronto. Guy, I understand you are still not a fan. I was just talking about analytics and the front office. I understand you are not a huge fan of management.
Hey, exactly, Alex. First, I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yes,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, the problem is the upper management and management. When they're not putting these players in the best position to win. I mean, Schneider's all over the place with his lineup. Guys are playing different positions they've never played before. You can't keep the same guys in the 2, 3, or 4 hole. And when they need to make moves, they don't, i.e. Springer. You know, the fact that this team is, you know, really weak in hitting, everyone forgets about this pitching. Does anyone realize that we have, the third most runs scored against us also, and we have, like, the second worst run differential in the American League? No one talks about the pitching, and that's just to us to show you how bad the hitting is. We are a terrible baseball team playing in the toughest division in baseball. This season is over. And the only way we're going to see a move in the front office is when all those fans who get to go see the Rogers Center and all these new, you know, changes that they've made, and, you know, those fans that, you know, just like to go to a ball game just to watch a ball game and bring their kid, they're still going to go there. But the fans like myself who go to the games because they want to see a competitive team and expect a competitive team, and they want to see the team win, instead of going to these games where the over-under on hits is 4, 4.5 every single game, who wants to watch this product? I mean, guys, this team, they need to pack it in right now. DFA, Springer, make your trades, make your moves, and at least this season, play the guys in the minors who've been rotting in there, doing nothing and just sitting and waiting to get a call-up. I would rather see them utilize this season to see what they got in the minors, and then next year you do what you got to do. But Atkins has to go. He's terrible. Schneider got to go. I'll hang up and listen. Happy Mother's Day.
Hey, Guy, appreciate the call. Yeah, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Okay, look, Springer's not getting DFA'd. That's just not that's not happening, right? It's not going to happen. But should he be batting leadoff? No, I agree. You know, I do wonder about the future of this team, because I think back to when Vladdy and Bo, and I guess Biggio too, to a lesser extent, but I remember when those guys were about to be called up. So when was that? Like 2018? Like this is like around. I guess we can even look back, like 2017, 2018. This is when we're looking back to. Okay, it wasn't that long ago, right? 2024. It was like 7 years ago, right? So you're looking back to that stretch of time in the immediate aftermath of the ball club being dismantled after the postseason runs in 15 and 16, right? And I think a lot of people had a lot of hope for what the organization could be when you look at what other organizations are now. Look, I just mean like relatively speaking, right? Like right now you're looking at some of the hotter AL ball clubs even, and you look at the way the Rangers have utilized both their cap space and young guys in the minors, a la Evan Carter and Josh Young, for example, to help bolster big free agent signings like Seager and Simeon, for example, right? And it's certainly the best example of this is the Orioles, who basically drafted everyone, the Hendersons, the Rutschmans, the Kausers, the Westbergs of the world to go up there and compete and be very good. And I think there was a thought process at the time back in 2017, 2018 that that's what the Blue Jays would be. And in 2021, it kind of felt like that's where they were going. And you look at how the paths for these three teams have largely diverged, for example. I'm just using them as examples because I know Jays fans are familiar with the Orioles and the Rangers, but it's tough. Like, it's tough. I don't think, and I've said before, maybe it is time to kind of like soft rebuild, but the problem is, like, I'm not sure the guys in the minors right this second are much better than what you're getting right now. Like, certainly Elvis Martinez, who we already kind of talked about today, that's probably the main person you want to see come up here. But a lot of the Blue Jays' strengths in the minors are either pitching, two of three, actually, I guess all three of them, Barriera, Tiedemann, and Marudis, I believe his name is, all of them are injured, right? And then you got certainly Elvis Martinez. But after that, I mean, if you were to call up, I don't know, Alan Rodin or Damiano Palmigiani, Canadian, by the way, wouldn't mind seeing him. But I'm just saying, like, if you call those guys up, is it really going to make a massive difference with this ball club? Probably not, right? So you look back to those years, 7 years ago, and you think, man, I'm not sure there is quite the carrot dangling for fans to get excited about. I think the other half of it is the Blue Jays are now what? Let's see here. They're 18 and 22. They're 18 and 21 entering play today. So 18 and 22. You're 4 games under 500. I do genuinely wonder what the breaking point will be because, as some of the texters pointed out, like there's this text from Gus in Surrey who had made the point, hey, Show, if I was to tell you one of these teams' payrolls was $100 million higher than the other, you wouldn't think it's the Blue Jays. Bad roster construction. And yeah, it's true. I mean, I do wonder how much further they have to go until the dam breaks. The other problem is, of course, is they just always give you these tantalizing glimpses of what they could be, and you have to look no further than yesterday's ball game in order to get that, right? It's crazy. Adam in Richmond Hill texts in, Show, 2 questions. When does Ross Atkins publicly address his team's struggles? Fan deserves answers. And how does a team with 3 hitting coach and a quote-unquote offensive coordinator struggle this badly and not make change? You see, and again, to that point, Adam, and I think they're valid questions. It's just when you get 10 runs and 16 hits, I feel like the thought process is, hey, it's working. Trust the process, it's working. And then you get so many more games like today, 2 hits and 1 run, and you think, gosh, like, maybe a change should be made. I'm not even sure. Like, I know people clamoring, by the way, for Ross Atkins, who's not been spoken to the media in ages. I don't even remember the last time he spoke to the media. But at the same time, like, what is he going to say? Ross Atkins is famously opaque. This entire front office is. I'm honestly, like, I'm not really sure what he could say beyond like accepting responsibility for literally everything, which honestly don't think many front offices do. Right, so. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a very satisfying, gratifying answer in that sense. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll go back to the phones. A lot of people on hold. Stay on the line. We'll get you. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. 590-590 is the People's Text line. It's open. Still taking your calls and texts. You're listening to Jays Talk. Jays 5-1 losers to the Twins here at the Rogers Center on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
We're 2 men in a truck. The movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
How country is Blue Jays pitcher Chris Bassett? He's so country, he showers in his boots. His truck needs 3 parking spots. He's so country, he played the banjo in his high school band. Chris Bassett is so country that he wants you down at the ballpark for Country Night. Arrive early on Country Night to get your Chris Bassett Hound on the Mound bobblehead, live country music, and featuring a pregame performance by Owen Riegling. Country Night, Friday, May 17th. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Springer charges a ball to left field. It's in the seats, and the Blue Jays are on the board.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
He's Noah, right? I don't know. Oh, that's John Schneider when asked about walking or not walking, intentionally not walking, Carlos Santana in what ended up a 3-run jack for Santana, who gets the best of Alek Manoah. The Blue Jays lose 5-1, the final score. They lose the series as well here at the Rogers Center. Up next, a tough road trip, mini road trip, just the one series, to Baltimore to play the Orioles at Camden Yards for the first time this season. Corbin Burns, Jose Barrios in the mound matchup tomorrow. You're listening to Jays Talk. Show Ali here for another 15-20 minutes or so. So still lots of time to give me your phone calls. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text Line. Before we go back to the People's Text Line, let's go to the phones. Ian calling in from right here in Toronto. Ian, what's on your mind?
Okay, so first of all, for the people who were talking about Manoah not facing Santana, I'm looking up right now. Santana against right-handed pitchers has hit 177 going into today with a 581 slugging. So for all the armchair people there is no reason to expect Santana to do that. When Santana was turned around in the playoffs against the Mariners, that was the big mistake that Schneider made at the end of the day. Right now, as it stands, Guillermo Martinez should have been fired the day they were out of the playoffs last year. He's a failure as a hitting coach, and honestly, he should not be on any on any team. With regards to starting to trade players, eventually you're going to have to look into that. The starters have done all they can. The bullpen, as much as there's only a few people who are getting guys out, the problem still just comes down to hitters can't hit. Guys like Vlad, who ran to arbitration because he needed $20 million, and no offense, Vlad is a failure. He is a failure as a player. All the hype, none of the talent, none of the will to win, none of the talent of his dad. He's an 800 OPS first baseman. Springer, I don't know why he's fallen off a cliff. Bo, at least, I'm willing to give him a leash because Bo's been better the last 2 years over Vlad when it comes down to his OPS and his average and everything. But it just comes down to you were building this team with Vlad in mind, and he is not a guy you should have ever been building a team around. He's an 800 OPS one first baseman playing the easiest position, and he's already cost a few games playing the easiest position. He has got to go at the end of the day. The problem is, time to trade him was this past off season. and now you're not going to get anything for him. You can't pay a guy $20 million for 10 extra base hits when Jansen's had 60% less times up and already has more extra base hits than Vlad.
Hey, Ian, thanks for the call, man. Tell me how you really feel. You know what? I hear you on Bo getting a longer leash. Springer, I've said this before, but Springer for me is maybe my expectations were just unreasonably low for Springer. But it's not that I don't think it's a problem. It is, obviously, and I'm not sure what you do about it beyond just not batting him leadoff, but the team definitely seems to have some sort of like sunk cost fallacy in not running Springer out there atop the lineup, I should say, day after day after day after day. David Schneider is someone I would have liked to see get some more run atop the lineup, but I said this yesterday, Springer only got the day off because he was sick, right? And it just seems like they're not willing, and I really don't think it's fair to completely ascribe it to Springer is the one who he's going to be mad if he doesn't get moved out of the leadoff spot. I truly don't think that's the case, but it does feel like the team believes for whatever reason there aren't very many other options there, and we have been shown there are, namely David Schneider. So I'm with you on that one. I do think calling Vladdy a failure is harsh, right? You just said he was an 800 OPS first baseman at a position that is, I agree, a lot easier to play than if he was the third baseman, for example. But if you're an 800 OPS player, you're probably like, I think by definition, you're not a failure, right? Now, does that mean he is the superstar that was promised? That's going to be the Ronald Acuna. That's going to be the Bobby Witt Jr. That's going to be the Juan Soto of this franchise? No, that I agree with. That I do agree with. But I'm not going to go so far as to call the guy a failure. I actually think in the last, 10 games, 12 games? I forgot what the cutoff is, but he's been playing actually quite well. And now I think the problem with Vladdy is we've been kind of, like post-2021 obviously, but we've kind of been fooled somewhat by his production because he's had hot stretches and then he's like tapered off, right? And if you're going to have that, you can't really have that. Like there is no such thing. I think Blair said this a couple times, but there is no such thing as a slump-proof player. But when the slumps are extended, you can't think it does change, whether it's fair or not, your perception of these players. And I think people's perceptions, mine as well, has changed for Vladdy, but I'm not sure I'd go so far as to call him a failure. And I think Barker has said this before. Both Blair and Barker have said this, but the idea that you can, in theory, view Vladdy as an above-average first baseman and not an elite talent, because elite is where we get kind of caught up, right? Generational talent, elite talent is where we get caught up in terms of evaluating Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It's also tough when your dad is like not just a good baseball player, but it's a Hall of Famer. He's probably not like his dad, but he's also somewhat of a different player than his father as well. I find evaluating Vladdy is so tough because, again, like the tantalizing glimpses of what he could be are there. They're there. We're even seeing it more these days. But it's just, do you have faith he'll keep it up? I don't know that I do, but I'm willing to give him a bit of a break, if only because he's starting to pull a little more, or at the very least he's starting to lift the ball a little more, I should say, and making better contact. Then again, is it too little too late? Certainly sounds like a lot of people feel that way. Let's go back to the phones. Jeremy in Vaughan joining us here on Jays Talk. Jeremy, what's on your mind? What do you want to get to today?
Hey, Show. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, so, listen, I don't know if this is something that Schneider said repeatedly, but I'm pretty sure he has said this, where he basically says that, we only go as far as our top three players.
Right.
And I just don't understand that. I don't think that makes sense because baseball isn't about, your 1, 2, or 3 top players. It's a team sport, right? Look at, Ohtani and Trout. They never sniffed the playoffs in